Hello, my weirdos. How is everybody tonight on this beautiful Saturday night?
Breaking my teeth.
Hope everybody's doing good. We're here. The meat of the sandwich, Del.
Hey,
and
guys.
the Wolfman.
I guess I don't even know what side I'm on.
It's all confusing.
I'm not in the middle, so that's a plus.
Yes, definitely. I'm not an MMF.
What's happening, everybody?
Hope everybody's having a good night. Hi, Chuck. Hi, Jules. Hi, Billy. Hey, Wahoo. Hey, Lane. Oh, who else we got? Billy and World of Weird and Jules. Carla. And, yeah, pretty much all of them that I see right now. Wahoo! Wahoo!
Wahoo! Nay.
We're going to do something a little different. This is going to be a multi-segment, multi-week thing on the Jeffrey Dalmer trial.
So you don't want to miss it.
Which started originally on January 30th of 1992, 24 years ago. And he was, 34 years ago. And 34 years ago last week, he was sentenced. So it's up there a little bit. As I said before, I actually knew, well, I wouldn't say I knew Jeffrey Dalmer, but I was an acquaintance of him. He used to attend a few of the same AA meetings that I went to. My first time that I went to AA before I realized that I wanted to keep drinking for a while. And now the trial was not about whether he's guilty or innocent. It had, proving whether he did it or not. The trial had nothing to do with that. The trial was whether he was guilty by reasons of insanity or not. But it pretty much the trial is the same as if it was a guilty trial. Had put all the facts out there. And jury had to, come to a conclusion whether he was insane or not. He had already pleaded guilty on January 13th of 92. He already said that he was guilty. What we're going to watch tonight is the prosecution's opening statements. It's a little bit long, a little bit dry and everything, but the prosecution does an amazing job of setting up the timeline for what everything happened and then giving instructions to the jury of what they were trying to conclude from this. Hey, Hector. A lot of people, they know about Jeffrey Dahmer, they know about the trial and all that, but it was broadcast on WITI TV 4 in Milwaukee. So it was only broadcast basically locally until A&E broadcast it the entire trial, and it was where I got all the video from. What
Bill.
do you like? Oh, my baloney has a first name.
Jeffrey Dahmer's favorite song, My Baloney Has a First Name. And also, Billy had a question for you, Mayor.
Oh, recipes? Yes. Actually, I didn't get any recipes from him, but he does talk about the best way to prepare human flesh to eat.
Lowry's.
Exactly. Lowry's seasoning salt.
For real?
You need some meat tenderizer.
And Adolf meat tenderizer. And he said it tasted a lot like chicken.
Huh.
Did he say that in an AA meeting?
No, he didn't say that in an AA meeting, but he said it in the trial when he was up there doing testimony.
Because I was going to say there wasn't no red flags in AA if he was like, I like my meat human with a name and with seasonings and, best way to cook it.
Yeah. Jeffrey Dahmer killed his first person in 1978 in Ohio. That's when he did his first killing, and he didn't kill another person until 1987. He did all his killing between 87 and 91.
Nancy.
The last month of his killing, in fact, in July of 91, he killed 6 people that month alone of the 17 people that they know that he's killed. Poll number 1 is.
Did you mean to put that in the chat, Wolf?
I don't know.
Yeah, I was hoping it would have showed up differently than that. But yeah, I did create a poll.
Okay.
What did you think played the biggest role in Jeffrey Dahmer's crimes? A, childhood trauma. B, mental illness. Police failures. Pure evil. Too bad we can't do a 5th one. All of the above. I don't really. Well, actually, I personally don't think it was so much childhood trauma, but everything else.
Yeah. I think that there was something evil in him personally.
Oh, yeah.
And because I've never looked at somebody and was like, I bet they would taste really good with some mashed potatoes and a roll. I've looked at people and been like, I bet you they have someone tied up in their basement. But I've never looked at them like, man, I'm hungry. I want to eat them. No.
I have, but sometimes it involves drinks, it's,
Yeah, okay. That's different.
You look like you taste good.
As a younger child, he did kill animals. Jeffrey Dalmer was also rated not the biggest serial killer of all time, of course, but rated probably one of the most grotesque serial killers of all time, because it wasn't just killing people. He was dismembering, cannibalism, necrophilia, everything that involved it, trying to create sex zombies by lobotomizing them with hydrochloric acid in their brain, drilling a hole and putting acid in there to kill the frontal cortex to lobotomize them, basically.
Yeah.
Now, from my interaction with them, he seemed like as normal as any drunk out there. After his first killing, and he ended up going into the Army, he got discharged from the Army because of his drinking. And he continued to drink the whole time, even when he was going to AA meetings. But I think he was going more to AA meetings, not for the drinking, but possibly for looking for other victims.
Yeah.
But it rocked the town so much. He worked for Ambrosia Chocolate Factory, which was right next to the Pabst Brewery in Milwaukee. His apartment was it Oak? Oh, I can't think of the name of it. Oak Grove Apartments was across the street from my favorite steakhouse in Milwaukee. So I never looked at corporate's 5 o'clock club the same way after that.
If you watch Paranormal Files, he goes to where Dalmer's apartment complex used to be because it's tore down. Right. And takes a spirit box, and I think they even do like the Estes method with the blindfold and the white noise kind of thing. And he tries to communicate with Dalmer or with any of his victims. And it's just like, oh, okay, this is kind of nifty. Like,
yep. That where the apartment building is still a empty lot.
Yeah.
There had been moves to actually turn it into a memorial park, several other things, but it's still 34 years later. It was torn down in November of 92, going on 34 years now, and it's still nothing but an empty lot.
Yeah.
There was a fund put together in Milwaukee. They were afraid of the stuff that came from Dalmer's apartment, refrigerators, stuff like that, of getting sold off as souvenirs. That a group raised, I forget how much it was. It was like a little over $400,000 to buy everything that they could to have it destroyed and buried in an undisclosed landfill somewhere around Chicago, so that nobody could get anything that was related to him.
I guess that's one way to do it.
It was the whole thing was just such a I think it was probably the biggest thing that made people just go, oh my God, next to the big blue crane, the crane Big Blue that crashed when they were building Miller Park, killing three workers that were up in a man basket watching them fly a roof panel in when they were building the stadium. I think those are like two of the most memorable things that's happened in Milwaukee, at least in my lifetime.
Yeah.
But we're going to start the trial. It's going to be more video and not so much talking. The sound quality isn't the greatest, but remember, this is almost, this is 34 years ago. So, technology wasn't quite that good back then. But we'll go for it here.
So before you start,
ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is also the opening statement time for the state of Wisconsin. As a district attorney, you have the option of either waiting until the first part proceeds or proceeding now. And I wish to tell you what the state will be showing in this case and what the basic theme of this case is. We all have sexual desires. That comes with humanity. Everyone in this room has sexual desire. Some of them vary. Some of them vary in strength. Some of them may be for a man may desire a woman. A woman may desire a man. A man may desire another man, or a woman may desire another woman. We understand that. We all have those experiences. Most of us know what we're talking about. Some people have different desires that vary from that. For some, it may be a desire to have sex with a child.
Also, if anybody wants to say anything, just raise your hand and I'll pause it.
Referred to as a pedophile.
Okay.
For another person, they're taken up with a fetish. Maybe they get particular excitement out of seeing a woman's stockings or a woman's undergarments. And we understand that. And that involves consensual, not for the child, but for adults, it's consensual. People understand that. And people can either reject it or accept what another one's sexual desires are as an adult. But the key issue is you don't impose that on somebody else. And that's what this case is about. This is about a man that had sexual desires for men. Not a crime, certainly. In most states it isn't, certainly. It isn't in Wisconsin. Sexual desire for men. But he was a man that didn't want to, after having relations with such men, he didn't want to stop there. He didn't want it to end. He wanted it to continue under his terms. And that's what this is about. The decision of the defendant to go ahead to take men unwilling, house, and I'll talk about that, even other outs that wouldn't do as he wished, he began to drug them. And that's really what this is about an appetite, a sexual appetite of this defendant that simply would not be stopped. You're aware of that in other types of cases, whether it's child molesting cases or rape cases. We're aware of that. This is another type of case. This man's first preference was not dead bodies. He repeats that throughout his statements. He repeats that to the psychiatrist. His first preference is not dead bodies. That's a later preference. That's subsequent when he can't get people to do exactly as he wishes. then he considers use of a dead body. You may be thinking, let's talk about his youth. You may be thinking a person that killed 17 people must come from a violent household. I think we tend to think there must be battery here, child abuse. Must be that there may be sexual abuse. Was there incest in the home? Something wrong between, something sexually wrong between the mother and the son, or between the father and the boy? Something like that going on? No evidence of it in this family. Was there some violence going on? Was he beaten and kicked and knocked around by an abusive parent? The record is devoid of that, and I don't think you'll see anything of that in this trial. His father is a degreed man, has a doctoral degree, and is a successful chemist. This is not a hardship story. The years that we're talking out in Bath, Ohio, you're talking about a young man raised in a beautiful home on about 1/4 acre of land, 1 1/4 acres, with a pond, trees. We're talking about really a person raised in many ways in a very advantaged situation, not a desperately beaten, abused person. Keep that in mind. A person that wanted something and wasn't going to take no. With respect to the jogger, the first issue of the jogger, he's 15 or 16 years old, Mr. Boyle has told you, and the evidence will show. He focuses on a young man that's a jogger in the neighborhood. He decides he's going to attack him. We're told that this obsession is going to attack him. So he lies in wait. He saws a baseball bat in half and lies in wait where he's seen that jogger running. Well, that day the jogger doesn't run by. Is he seized out of control? Does he run around the park looking for somebody else to beat? Does he grab another jogger and go after him? Grab somebody else, go to another park, start prowling the streets that day? No way. The jogger doesn't come along, and he goes back home. He decides, no, he won't act on it. The opportunity isn't right, the jogger isn't there, so he goes back to his home. The next incident we hear about is a man named Stephen Hicks. You see here to my right, I've written it up there, homicide, to assist you because of the number here. Stephen Hicks, age 19, during the summer of 1978. Mr. Dalmer has graduated from Revere High School in Bath, Ohio. He's finished his high school education. He is driving along, he starts thinking about, he reports that he's had thoughts about having sex with a hitchhiker. On this particular day, he sees a hitchhiker, passes by and thinks about it. He's got a car that day. He's got a home available to him that day. His parents are not there. And he picks up that hitchhiker and takes that hitchhiker back to the home. He then decides that hitchhiker, after a period of time, the hitchhiker apparently, and he gives some mixed statements on this. His initial statements to police are not the final statements on it. But eventually he indicates that he decides that he wants to have sex with this hitchhiker and comes up behind him, invites him to the home. They're talking, and he comes up behind him and hits him with a barbell, renders him unconscious, and then proceeds to strangle him with a portion of the barbell for sex, to have sex with him. This is not a fight. This is not an angry fight. It's a decision. And if you believe Mr. Dalmer at the end, he didn't even ask for it. This isn't even a turn down involved. It's a decision that he is going to have sex with that young man. And he does. He conceals the body. A day or two later, he takes it apart, cuts it up, decides to transport it to a dump, packs it into some garbage bags, puts it in the back of the car, and drives down the road. He's stopped by a police officer driving to the left of center. And that officer stops the car and thinks there's some drunkenness involved, and there's a discussion between the officer and himself. And he persuades the officer that he is not intoxicated. And the officer writes a ticket driving left of center and leaves him alone. And Mr. Dalmer then returns to the house, to the family house. The body's still in the back, and stuffs it into a part of the house. At first, he told police that 2 weeks later, he got rid of the body, that under a crawl space, but in a later statement, he said, no, in fact, it was 2 years later after the military, some 3 years later, that he came back and disposed of the body of Stephen Hicks. That was the first slaying. That occurred in Ohio. That is outside the jurisdiction of the state of Wisconsin, and that occurred in 1978. Mr. Dalmer states he experienced remorse about this. You will see one of the tests we'll talk about is whether he knew it was right or wrong. Mr. Boyle did not address that issue because I don't think there's really much dispute about that issue at all. I think you will find from the evidence that Mr. Dalmer knew at all times what he was doing was wrong. This is not the case of a psychotic man that didn't know the difference between right and wrong. This is a man that had just graduated from high school in a family where there were many opportunities. He decided he would then go to Ohio State University. And in the fall of 1978, he matriculated at Ohio State University and lived in a suite of rooms there with a number of other men. There were no assaults during that time. Whatever he says bothered him or stimulated him, he had under control. There were no further attacks in the summer of 1978. He went to the University, Ohio State University, lived in a suite of rooms with other men. There are no reports of attacks on those men. He flunked out because of excessive drinking, in part. He decided that he would enter the Army, and in late of 1978, late in that year, he entered the United States Army and served in the Army at that time. Mr. Carter, now we've I think you will find from the evidence that Mr. Dalmer knew at all times what he was doing was wrong. This is not the case of a psychotic man that didn't know the difference between right and wrong. This is a man that had just graduated from high school in a family where there were many opportunities. He decided he would then go to Ohio State University. And in the fall of 1978, he matriculated at Ohio State University and lived in a suite of rooms there with a number of other men. There were no assaults during that time. Whatever he says bothered him or stimulated him, he had under control. There were no further attacks in the summer of 1978. He went to the University, Ohio State University, lived in a suite of rooms with other men. There are no reports of attacks on those men. He flunked out because of excessive drinking, in part. He decided that he would enter the Army, and in late of 1978, late in that year, he entered the United States Army and served in the Army the better part of 3 years, trained down in camps in the southern part of the United States, and then moved over to Germany, where he lived for the better part of those 3 years. Lived in a barracks right near men in the southern camps. Lived in a barracks in Germany. There are no sexual assaults during that time. There are no impulses that he doesn't control. He undertakes to masturbate, which has become a habit with him, a way that some people deal with sexual stress, particularly younger men. You may say it's wrong, you may say it's right, you may say it's healthy, you may say it's unhealthy. There's a division of perception on that. But he gets pornography and he deals with those desires in that fashion. Doesn't attack anybody, and those years pass without any evidence of an attack. Sexual desire, yes, we all have sexual desire. And he's dealing with those sexual desires, controlling those sexual desires. He returns from the United States in March to the United States, is mustered out because of excessive drinking, mustered out of the Army, and goes down to Miami, Florida, where he lives for a number of months, roughly from March to September of 1981. There are no sexual assaults down there. He's controlling himself. No evidence that he attacked anyone, either statements by him or by anybody else. He kept his sexual urges under control. Returns in September or so to Bath, Ohio, where his parents are. His father, there's been a divorce, and the father has remarried. Is there for a couple of months, and the decision is made that he will go to live with his grandmother in West Allis, Wisconsin. And he moves here to Milwaukee County. This is in 1981. Takes up residence with his grandmother in West Allis, Wisconsin. And he resides there for several years. In 1982, he has a job at the Milwaukee Blood Plasma Center. Works there for a year, has some problems. He does have a curiosity about blood. This was brought out by one of our psychiatrists. Does have a curiosity about blood, tastes it once, doesn't like it, that's the end of it. Curious, yes, I grant you that. Different tastes, curiosity. Tries it once, doesn't like it, that's the end of it. Tastes it, doesn't like it. In 1982, 1983, and 1984, under the influence of his grandmother, he turns towards religion and gets somewhat serious about religion, about taking his drinking under control, about dealing with his sexuality. And during that time, he states that with that aid, he came with a pretty good control of himself. And I'll read briefly what one of the reports, indicating what one of those reports were. After a period of time, he said his grandmother was a religious woman, and at this time he began attending church with her, and was apparently looking into religious ideals in an attempt to change his life. He stated he recalls reading the Bible and attempting to look for a job and to live the so-called, quote, straight and narrow life, close quote. He stated that he looked into the religious aspects of life. However, Mr. Boyle has indicated as well, he was at the West Allis Library apparently one day. A man passed him by, dropped a note in his lap, suggesting a homosexual liaison in the basement of that library. He did not respond to that, did not go down to the basement, did not meet that man. However, he indicates then, after that occurred, these ideas started to bother him again, what he described as the darker side of himself. And he quit attending church and looking into a religion, and for a while he delved into the occult. He stated that he did this because he felt that since religion wasn't working, maybe he should delve into the occult and into Satanism. However, after reading several books and dabbling into it, at least at that time, he decided that it was not for him, and he began to give into his homosexual tendencies. There may be different perceptions of that in this room and on this jury about whether that's right or wrong. In our state, it's not a crime between adults to have homosexual practices. That's the state of law in our state.
You focus a lot on the sex.
That's what guides in terms of what a person lawfully or unlawfully does. At any rate, he became involved then. He started to read gay and homosexual pornography, eventually became acquainted with the bars in the homosexual areas of our city. Those are on the South 2nd Street area, south of the city of Milwaukee, the Milwaukee River. He became familiar with gay bathhouses and undertook to attend and participate in activities.
Mayor.
Meanwhile, in 1985, he had gotten
I was looking at my phone. I didn't see that. Yep.
So, did he do all of this mainly for sexual gratification? Because they're talking an awful lot about that.
Yes. Actually, yes, he did.
He wasn't just hungry?
No, that actually came later on.
Oh.
It all started off on a sexual gratification, and then he moved on to trophies, souvenirs, skulls, bones, stuff like that. The necrophilia. Well, actually, the necrophilia came before the cannibalism and that. But it escalated a lot.
Huh. Okay. I was like, they're talking an awful lot about that.
Yeah.
The company as a mixer. It was a third shift job. It started in 1985. It was to continue virtually to the time of his arrest. He was to perform as an employee. At the bathhouses, he describes how there was casual sex, persons that would meet in relatively short time and engage in sexual activities. Some persons wished to have anal sex. Others wished to lie with Mr. Dalmer. In these bathhouses, he describes how there'd be a central lounge area And then there'll be a number of rooms around that lounge area, small rooms with beds where if individuals wish to engage in homosexual activities,
Well, you
go to
hold.
that lounge area, repair to the bedroom area, and engage in those activities. Some of those men whom he met wanted to have anal sex with him. In other words, wanted to penetrate his anal orifice with their penis. He did not like that. And he decided that he wanted to continue.
Orifice. That's one way of putting it.
Orifice. Like sphincter.
Hey, you got a nice orifice. Bathhouses. So many jokes there. Yeah.
Wrecked them hell. Damn near killed
them. And sometimes it did. Yeah. Bathhouse. So many jokes there. They got dirt, clean while getting dirty.
Yeah.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, I never knew it, but because of the trial and that, I found out there was quite a few bathhouses in Milwaukee. I never knew. Yeah, we had the third ward of Milwaukee, which is where probably 95% of all the gay bars were. One of them was Lacage, which was, now that place was awesome. And I had been there many times because they did drag shows there, and the drag shows were fantastic. But you got other ones, you'd be walking down there, there's no signage outside. There'd be just like a little plaque next to the door. And that little plaque there that said a name, name of the bar or something on it was a gay club. There's no windows or anything else on it. You couldn't see in. You didn't know what was there. The first time I was down in the third ward, I went to a place called the Scoreboard. I thought it was a sports bar. And I walked in there, ordered a beer, it's in there, and there's no sports on the television. They had some other television show. I think it was Rescue 911 was on it. And I'm looking around and I go, hold it, there's ferns in here. And it's just like, I got a feeling something's not right. And bartender comes up and he's looking at me and he goes, "You're not gay, are you?" I said, "Nope." He says, "Don't worry. Nobody's going to bother you." I finished my drink and I went across the street to, I can't think of the name of the bar, but it's a long-standing regular bar that was right across the street from the place. And I walked in there and I just like, the bartender come up to me. It was a gal and she goes, "What can I get you?" I said, "I don't know anything alcohol." He goes, "You walked in across the street, didn't you?" I said, "Yep." He said, "First one's on us." And I go, "You didn't go in the bathroom there, did you?" I said, "Nope." He says, "You'll be glad that you didn't go into the bathroom." Okay.
Damn.
Oh.
There's happy beginnings.
Yeah.
Or happy endings.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Happy beginnings, happy endings. As long as you're happy.
I guess it comes up in the end.
It was wallpapered in pictures of naked men. From what I hear. I never went in there, and I walked into that bar across the street. Yep, first one's on us. It happens all the time.
I would have walked in and went, poor guy. Oh.
Back to the trial.
To attend the bathhouses, he wanted to express himself sexually that way, but he did not want the other person, the other male, to express himself by anal sex on Mr. Dalmer. He felt that sometimes the men insisted on that. He didn't want that, but he wanted the sex. So he came up with an idea of drugging the persons he would meet at the bathhouses, particularly the Milwaukee bathhouse. And so we're not talking at all about someone sharing marijuana or sharing cocaine. We're talking about Mr. Dalmer deceiving these men and giving them drugs that would put them to sleep. He decided then that in order to do that, he would go to a physician and lie about say to the physician that because he was working the third shift, he needed sleeping pills so that he could sleep during the day. And from day one, with that ruse, he went to a physician and secured a particular drug. I don't wish to mention that drug, and I hope you will understand that. because I think there are people that might want to drug other people. I think that's a true tragedy in life. There are people that will take sexual advantage of each other. Sometimes you've heard the expression, candy's dandy, but liquor is quicker. You don't have to be a homosexual person to want to take advantage of another person sexually. There are persons who deliberately...
Actually, that's very true, John. It's like over time, I had a few gay friends of mine. One of them was a waiter at the restaurant I was a chef at. And a bunch of us on like nights off, we'd go out and have a few cocktails and all that, have a couple drinks. And he'd give him he was a flaming, at his way he puts it, I'm a flaming size queen. And we would, he would take us into his world in a sense. And it was absolutely hilarious. We'd walk in one of these gay bars and he would just go, all right, all you bitches, listen, all these guys, these are mine. You keep your hands off. And we'd actually have a fun time drinking, laughing, playing pool, stuff like that. They were really, after that, it's just like, gay bar, big deal. Nobody hits on me. I don't care. I don't want to be gay dudes. And what was great about, that friend who was gay, he was a complete size queen and all that, but we'll be someplace and there'll be some gal with a hell of a rack on her. And he'd go, holy cow, look at that tits on her. And we'd look at him and go, hold it, you're gay. He says, hey, I might be gay, but I'm still a man and I appreciate a good rack. He was a hell of a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
He will ply a woman with alcohol with the intent of taking advantage of her sexually. And there are persons who are available for drugs. If drug they knew how to do it, the concern would be that they would use that drug to put someone to sleep. They are not insane people that would do that any more than men who used alcohol to get a woman drunk, to take advantage of her sexually, was an insane person. It's been going on for a long time. And he determined to take that drug that he got with the ruse from the physician, with the ruse that he needed it to sleep. And he began to experiment with drugging people. Maybe you're unhappy with what goes on in bathhouses.
One thing's wrong with that, John. I'm not gay, but I was bottle fed.
Maybe you aren't, but this much is true. You've got no right to drug somebody else against their will. No matter what they're undertaking to do with you, you've got no right to do that. Because it may be sex that some in this jury may feel that they don't approve of, it doesn't mean you have a right to drug somebody else. And that's what he did. Began to drug people at the bathhouses. And the word got around. And finally, a gentleman who ran the bathhouse at that time, Bradley Barbush, he'll be a witness, became angry about it and confronted Dalmer and said, get out. You can't do that anymore. We don't want you around here. Get out. And kicked him out of the bathhouse, the Milwaukee bathhouse. Dalmer knew it was wrong. Dalmer never contended that what he was doing was right, whether it's this or whether it's killing people. Never contended at any time that he was hearing a voice or anything else. And there was Barbush telling him, look it, buddy, you can't drug people. Get out of here. And he kicked him out. That was the gentleman that operated the bathhouse at that time, and he will be a witness. Did Dalmer stop? No. We know the purchasing of drugs continued. I'm going to pick up with a little bit greater detail now in citing particular dates of activities. On 7/31/86, July 31, 1986, Dalmer visited Dr. Carl Olson on South 90th Street and received a prescription for the particular drug he was using to drug these people. On September 8th of 1986, Dalmer was arrested for lewd and lascivious behavior. That was later amended to disorderly conduct. He was convicted on March 10, 1987 for disorderly conduct and received 1 year's probation. What was involved was indecent exposure. And it's interesting, I ask you to follow this because you'll see the want of candor. You'll see it in future incidences when he's talking with a psychologist or a probation worker. Mr. Dalmer will undertake to deceive that worker about what really happened here at this exposure case. He was exposing himself in a park to several young boys, minors. And they reported it to the police. The police arrested him. At first, he denied it. And then he confessed that he had done it a number of times. That officer will be called to testify to whom he confessed, that he had done it a number of times, at least 4 or 5 times. And he was found guilty. What is interesting about it, as well as other things, is that you will see when he later speaks to other persons in the criminal justice system through the years, the psychologists, probation officers, he will undertake to try to deceive them about the true nature of what happened in that incident. That was he pled guilty on March 10, 1987. But even while that case was pending, on February 13 of 1987, he received another order of this drug that had been prescribed by Dr. Olson from Richard's Pharmacy. Also on the 27th of February, he purchased 30 tablets of this particular drug from this particular pharmacy, which had been prescribed by Dr. Olson. We'll have Dr. Olson testify, because I want you to see that Mr. Dalmer has a history of deceiving doctors. And here he's deceiving a doctor, going to him, saying what his problems are, fabricating a problem, and getting a drug. I think that's important to keep that in mind. Again, on the 10th of April the 10th of 1987, he again purchased that same particular drug from Richard's Pharmacy.
Okay, the drug that he used was triazolam. I just looked it up. Yep. Yeah, that's what it said that he used.
Hey, John, I don't know if you only live once goes for that. Sorry.
Used triazolam and also Halcon, Halcion.
Bill said, is that like Demetol? I like Demetol. It's almost like Fucadol.
Fuck it all. 2,000 milligrams of fuck it all. How I get through my day.
Pharmacy prescribed by Dr. Olson. Again, on the 15th of May of 1987, he purchases 30 tablets of that particular drug from Richard's Pharmacy, prescribed by Dr. Olson. Again, on July 1, 1987, he purchases 30 tablets of that particular drug from Richard's Pharmacy, prescribed by Dr. Olson. He's using this drug basically for the purpose of drugging people. He's now out of the bathhouses, he's going to hotels. He said he used the Ambassador Hotel and the Wisconsin Hotel. He would meet these men, persuade them. He said his typical process was to suggest he would pay them to come, go to the hotel with them, and drug them. And while they were drugged, he would use them sexually. Now mind, no matter what he says his fantasies were, the incidences in the bathhouses did not result in anyone being killed. And the incidences in the hotels do not involve anyone getting killed until November, the latter part of November of 1987. However, before getting into November of 1987, I'd like to speak to a condition of probation. When Mr. Dalmer was convicted of the indecent exposure, the disorderly conduct case, he was placed on probation, and a condition of that probation was that he was to get help, psychological help. The judge in that case said, look, something's wrong here, get some psychological help. And he undertook, by order of the court, he undertook to start visiting with Dr. Evelyn Rosen. She is a clinical psychologist. Those treatments continued until March of 1988. But what is critically important here, he is beginning to see a psychologist, meets with her on October 5th of 1987, meets with her again on November 2nd of 1987, Meets again with her on November 16th of 1987 and doesn't cooperate. Here's an opportunity to get some help. Sent there by a court, an opportunity. The issue here is going to be responsibility. Responsibility for what he did. And here's an opportunity to get help. If he's troubled by this, by what he says are the fantasies that go on in his mind. But he doesn't do that. Indeed, the records reflect that he rejects assistance from Dr. Rosen, is obviously uncooperative. Indeed, over the year that he sees her on several occasions, flatly turns his back to her. And this is not psychosis. No evidence of psychosis from that. Flatly turns his back, rejects the hand, rejects the purpose, the court-ordered assistance he rejects, and does not cooperate with Dr. Rosen throughout that period. He sees her on November 16, 1987 again, Dr. Evelyn Rosen. On or about the 20th of November.
Hey, by the way, Carla, I need you to send me a link in Discord to your Discord server. I haven't got it.
I don't either.
Just run for watch hours, but heading to sleep. Okay, Carla. But when you get a chance, send me a link to your, both to me and Del for your Discord server. Oh, he's definitely wearing a rug. He needs to put a little gray in the rug part of it so it matches.
That's towards the end of November of 1987. He meets a young man by the name of Stephen Tomey, and they go to the Ambassador Hotel. Mr. Dalmer will indicate that he has already reserved that room. He has already ground the pills that he's going to use to drug. He has secured the room, prepared the pills, and then he goes out to look for whom he will victimize. I hope I do not fail to mention it because it's important. You will see that every person he victimizes either doesn't have a car or doesn't have use of the car at that time. What is supposed to be an ungovernable, uncontrollable urge is a highly selective to make sure that the person he selects, and he explains later he doesn't want a car around because the police interest might be aroused. At any rate, he selects Mr. Stephen Twomey, goes out literally, gets him, brings him back, offers him some money to come back. They come back to the hotel, and he drugs him, which is his practice. Mr. Dalmer himself is drinking. Mr. Dalmer says he woke up the next morning and Stephen Twomey was dead in the bed. Mr. Dalmer says he doesn't know what happened. He saw an injury, looked like a rib injury on Mr. Twomey. Mr. Dalmer could not recall. He said himself, his arms were bruised, but he did not know what happened. Drinking, whatever it was, he did not know what happened. He went down to the hotel lobby, signed in for another day, keeping the room for another day. During that day, went down to the Grand Avenue Mall, bought a large suitcase, and brought it back to the Ambassador Hotel. He stuffed Mr. Twomey into that suitcase, waited until about 1 or so in the morning, summoned a cab, and took the suitcase with Mr. Twomey into it down to the cab, got into the cab and went out to his grandmother's home. When he got out to the grandmother's home at the opportune time, he disposed of the body of Mr. Stephen Twomey, masturbated on it, and disposed of the body of Mr. Stephen Twomey. Cut it up, cut up the flesh into small garbage bags, triple lined garbage bags, took it out to the garbage, took the bones, wrapped them in a sheet, and smashed them with a sledgehammer, and then put them also in the garbage. And you'll see he did this with several of the others that he killed at the grandmother's home. Waited until the garbage men took away the evidence the next day or so. It's interesting because at this time, when the psychiatrist talked about this particular time with Mr. Dalmer, they asked him, and particularly Dr. Dietz, told him, well, what about this after this event? And he said, well, Dalmer said the following: since I had completely failed in trying to resist the urges, I just went with it, embraced it. Question: decided not to try? Answer, right, right. Question, but the only time you tried to resist was when you were going with religion with your grandma? Answer, right. And then the failure with the fellow at the Ambassador. Do you even remember what happened there? Answer, after that, there was no resistance. After that, none. It was a gradual escalation. Drinking, bath clubs, bookstores, bath clubs, right up until the ultimate. The bath clubs that he was going to later was in Chicago. Question, did you understand how self-indulgent this was? Answer, I did. But by that time, my moral compass was so shot, so totally corrupted, that was my main focus of life. These were my fantasies. That's what fueled my fantasies. That's what happens when you think you don't have to be accountable to anyone. You think you can hide your activities and never have to account for them. It can lead to anything then, which it did. Question, you think more people would have done these sort of things if you weren't inhibited by your conscience? Answer, it would depend on the person, I suppose. I don't know. I can't speak for others. I really don't know. I only know what happened in my case. Question, you felt this as a struggle for a couple of years? Answer, right. Up until the Ambassador. And then there was no struggle after that. No struggle at all.
I think the prosecution is doing an outstanding job of setting up a timeline, showing the past, leading all up to this and that.
Yeah, I mean, because he couldn't just walk in and be like, "Okay, hey," he admitted to it, but he's also crazy because who in the right mind would do this? He's got to lay out that timeline for the jury to go, he was seeing a counselor. He had multiple opportunities to get this addressed before it led to murders, and before he got to eating people and everything. But yeah.
He's doing a great job of going step by step by step, showing that this is planned. He knew what he was doing. He knew he needed to get help, but he wasn't getting the help that he needed. It's just from what he's doing alone is setting it up that it's going to be so difficult for the defense to try to break it down at all, to try to get a insanity verdict.
Yeah.
Question, you did just what you pleased. Answer, right. Exactly. That hits it at the heart.
True, Bill.
I'm a human being. I've struggled with sexual impulses. I think every human being struggles with sexual impulses.
I suffer from no sex. No. I had to throw that in.
You can't stop. It's that struggle. It's lifelong. If the normal person declines as you grow older. And the issue is here, and that's what this case is about. A man that quit struggling.
Well, Bill, you're saying he's more of a narrator than a prosecutor. You're exactly right. That's what he's trying to do. He's setting up that narrative. He's telling the story. He's not going by, the law says this or the law says that. No, he's setting up the entire story of all this. Well thought out, well planned, without being a lawyer, but telling the narrative so everybody knows what's happening.
Yeah.
This prosecutor did an amazing job. I was in the at the trial one day just to be part of it, to watch it, when one of the police officers was testifying, and the prosecutor, no ambiguous words, anything. He was so straightforward and so clear. He left nothing chance or that could be argued. He was just so systematically perfect on how he deposed this entire thing.
And yielded. We go on. In a pattern that is somewhat frequent. That was a weekend, that particular November date, on November 23rd, 1987, which was a Monday, apparently the Monday after the Ambassador Hotel incident. Jeffrey Dahmer took a sick day from the Ambrosia Chocolate Company. On November 24, 1987, Jeffrey Dahmer took a sick day from the Ambrosia Chocolate Company. That's where he'd gotten the job in 1985. Again, on December 17th, 1987, Jeffrey Dahmer saw Dr. Rosen. No cooperation there.
Hey, should there be bones in my chocolate?
Again, on December 21, 1987, Dahmer sees Dr. Rosen. No sharing of problems. On December 30th, 1987, Dahmer purchases more of this particular drug at Richard's Pharmacy, prescribed by Dr. Carl Olson. Going to get more drugs. On the 4th of January, 1988, Dahmer again sees Dr. Rosen. No cooperation. On Sunday, the 17th of January in 1988, we are now down here. James Dockstader, on the 17th of January, 1988, a 15-year-old boy. Jeffrey Dahmer says he met him at the 219 Club. This is a club in the area where there are a number of gay-type clubs. Dahmer met him there, offered money, took him out to the grandmother's house in West Dallas, took him in, the grandmother was asleep, drugged him, had sex with him, and killed him. 15-year-old boy. Then disposed of the body. On Monday, the 25th, 1988, Jeffrey Dahmer took a sick day at the Ambrosia Chocolate Company. This is the Monday after this weekend. On that very same Monday, the day after or the weekend following that, Jeffrey Dahmer again saw Dr. Rosen. Every time I can assure you that he sees Dr. Rosen, there's no cooperation. He will not cooperate, doesn't share, does nothing, doesn't reach out for help. On Saturday, March 5th, 1988, Dahmer purchases 30 tablets, this drug, at the Richards Pharmacy, prescribed by Dr. Carl Olson. On March the 7th, 1988, Dahmer sees Dr. Rosen again. On Sunday, March 27, 1988, the fourth victim, Richard Guerrero, age 22. Basic facts are these. Mr. Dahmer meets him at the Phoenix Bar. That's one of the gay bar area. He went to Dahmer's grandmother's house out in West Dallas, and they had oral sex. Mr. Dahmer drugged Guerrero, killed him, and disposed of the body. Why is he doing this? Why does he say that he did this? The reason is to extend his time of pleasure. He wants the man compliant. His first choice is a totally compliant living human being. His first choice is not the dead body. He wants a totally compliant living human being. He likes to lay on that person, a man. He likes to feel and hear the body movements, hear the heart. He likes the response of a living human being, the sexual response of a living human being. But he wants to continue it. And these chaps want to leave. Hey, it's time to go. When he knows that's coming, you get out the drug. He's going to continue the pleasure. And drugs the person so they don't leave, and he continues the pleasure. And when they come out of the drug, they're going to want to leave. So you kill them, and you keep the body. And you got a couple more days of pleasure out of that body. For your couple of days of pleasure, second-rate pleasure, it's not his first choice, it's his third or fourth choice. I'll detail it later what his choices are. But to continue that pleasure for several days. And you can see, and particularly Dr. Fosdell in his remarks when he testifies, he talked about talking with Dahmer, how the total lack of respect for life that Dahmer had, his pleasure over the other person's life. Those were the choices. And Fosdell asked him, look, you made these choices. And he said, yes, I made these choices. On Monday, that slaying was on March 27, 1988, a Sunday. On Monday, March 28, 1988, Dalmer took an unexcused absence from the Ambrosia Chocolate Company in the process of enjoying and getting rid of the body. On the 4th of April, 1988, on the third reading of April 1988, Mr. Dalmer met Mr. Ronald Flowers. Mr. Flowers has a car, but Mr. Flowers was leaving in this gay bar area. His car was parked there, and he was going to leave. He had been visiting in one of the taverns with friends of his and was leaving. His car wouldn't start, and he will testify to this. His car would not start. He tried to get a start. Finally walked over to a telephone booth to call a friend to see if he could get a friend to come and jumpstart his car. While he's at that booth, he's frustrated. There are other people waiting at the booth, and Dalmer comes up to him and starts to push him. Now come on out. Let's have some fun. Come out to my grandmother's house. I got a car there. I'll take her car and we'll go jumpstart your car. As a matter of fact, that's a lie. Dalmer didn't have a driver's license. Throughout these incidents, Dalmer does not drive a car, Jeffrey Dalmer, although he was driving as a younger man. The individual, Mr. Flowers, is reluctant, as he'll tell you, will testify. He decides to go out to the house, out to the Dalmer household, the grandmother's house. They take a cab out there, but Mr. Dalmer doesn't park the cab in front of the house, doesn't take the cab to the house, stops the cab a couple of blocks away. Says, no, we'll get out here. He gets out there, and Flowers will testify to this. They start walking for a couple of blocks, and Flowers says, what's going on here? Flowers says, look, all I wanted with this guy was to get a jump start for my car. They have to walk a couple of blocks, and he's saying, hey, where's this house? Where's your car? Finally, they come up to the grandmother's house in West Dallas. They go inside, and when they go inside, Mr. Flowers will testify. He hears the mother call out, Jeffrey, is that you? The mother hears the voices, apparently, of the two men. Mr. Flowers is a tall, handsome man, as you will see. Hears the voices of the two men, and it's apparent that the grandmother must know that there are two men there in the house. They sit down, they have a cup of coffee. Mr. Dalmer, as was his custom and the way he drugged these men, offers a cup of coffee. Mr. Flowers wants to get back and get his car started. He's not happy. He says, okay, you'll have a cup of coffee. The coffee is served. He says he notes that as he's preparing it, doesn't think about anything at the time. He remembered it well afterwards. But Dalmer's got his back to him as he's preparing the cups of coffee. Then he passes the coffee to him. Flowers starts to take it. Says right away, even before I passed out, I knew I had been drugged. In very, very short order, down he went. That's all he can remember. He wakes up in the county hospital. Ronald Flowers was, as he will testify. Dalmer told the police that what happened was that after Dalmer passed out, or after Flowers passed out, he took advantage of him sexually, took advantage of Mr. Flowers. Flowers had told Mr. Dalmer what his work was. This is what Dalmer told the police about this incident involving Mr. Flowers, and that is the encounter on April 3, 1988. Flowers told him that he had a car problem, at which time Jeffrey stated that they could take a cab back to his grandmother's house where he could get his grandmother's car and come back to give him a jump. Dalmer stated that they went into the house, and after Dalmer turned off the alarm, he gave Flowers a cup of coffee in the basement, and the coffee had halcyon in it. Mr. Dalmer stated that he had gave Flowers as much as 12 of these pills because Flowers is a big man. He wanted to make sure he got enough to knock him out, and that he passed out Flowers within half an hour after they arrived at the residence. He stated that Mr. Flowers passed out, at which time Dalmer pulled his pants down. He does not recall if he had oral sex with him or not. But in the morning, his grandmother, Dalmer says his grandmother saw him at that time, at which time Mr. Dalmer decides that Flowers was too big, and Dalmer didn't want to cause a commotion, and his grandmother had seen him, so he decides not to kill Flowers. He decides not to kill Flowers. Dalmer went on to state that he walked when finally Flowers became roughly, at least somewhat groggy, but conscious.
What amazes me about this is how they were able to get all these facts about what happened on each of these nights and be able to piece that all together. Yeah. The amount of research and investigation that had to be done on top of what Dalmer had already told them had to be just a nightmare and then put it all together. What happened? How they found out what happened and what was done and what was said.
He walked him to a bus stop on 57th and Lincoln, gave him $1 to get on the bus. Dalmer admitted that he did take $80 from Mr. Flowers, but stated that he left other monies in his wallet. Mr. Flowers doesn't recollect that. He was so drugged. Mr. Flowers, the first thing he recollects is waking up in the county hospital, where apparently someone saw him in a drug condition and took him out to the county hospital. The point here is, even when he has him drugged, he decides, grandmother found out about it, he decides not going to go ahead with the killing. It doesn't hide the body. He could hide the body, kill him, hide the body. He doesn't do that because there's some risk involved. This is not a man out of control. He decides at that time, as he said, decided not to kill Mr. Flowers. Again, he's running slow on his drug.
I think he was way more in control than, especially when the prosecution talk or the defense talks and all that. It sounds like everything is so planned out and so in control. He knew exactly what was going on. There were several victims that got away from him because he realized that they weren't his type. That's not what I wanted. And we'll find out later. With one of them, he got him, ended up killing him, but didn't want to keep any trophies because it wasn't his type that he was looking for. All he did is dismember him and then get rid of the parts. He didn't want to keep any trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine-tuning his craft. He not only his craft itself, but the type of people that he wanted to perform his craft on.
And on August the 4th, 1988, he purchases 30 more tablets of that particular dope from Richard's Pharmacy, prescribed by Dr. Carl Olson.
Calling me?
And on September 27, 1988, Mr. Dalmer is arrested at 808 North 24th Street. He has left the grandmother's home and gotten an apartment down on North 24th Street near Wall Street. We are now at the sexual assault, which occurs on September 26, 1988. Because there is a minor involved, as he will testify, he is 13 years of age, and I am not going to release his name at this time. The offense occurred on the 26th of September 1988. The arrest, early in the morning at the Ambrosia Chocolate Company, he was arrested. And early the next morning on September 27th, here's what happened. That young man will testify to it. He was walking home from school in that area. He says Mr. Dalmer came up to him, told him that he had gotten a new camera. We're talking about a 13-year-old boy. He had gotten a new camera, and Mr. Dalmer wanted him to pose for that camera. And would he do him a favor and offered some money? Would he come over and pose? He's got this new camera. This boy is a Laotian boy. He's not he was not fully Americanized in the sense that Americans, I think, teach their kids very much. You don't meet a stranger and go to someone's house. We went to the house. He's a 13-year-old boy. Got in the house, and Mr. Dalmer prepares the cup of coffee with the drug in it and passes the cup of coffee to the boy. He has the boy start posing, and while the boy will say he was scared, obviously, at this situation, he told him to take his shirt off, then zip his pants open, and Dalmer went over and reached down and touched his penis, pulled his penis out over his underwear. The boy became alarmed and afraid. He had taken some of the coffee, and he got up and said, he's got to go. And Dalmer, he had some recollection of Dalmer saying, here's the money, and having some money, and the boy left the house. He had not gotten far, as he'll testify, before he began to feel the effect of the drugs. He made it home, and his next consciousness, he wakes up in a hospital where his parents have taken him to a hospital because he's arrived home. Why didn't Mr. Dalmer kill this young man? Mr. Dalmer states that he had to work that evening, and for that reason he didn't kill him. He had to go to work. Does this sound like something he couldn't control? Here's the young man leaving. Relatively slight boy of age 13. He doesn't attempt to overpower him. That's not the plan. It could be, I suppose, if that was his intent, if he tried that, there could be a ruckus. The point of the matter is, he doesn't undertake to slay this boy, although he's got him there, he's given him the drugs, and the young man is there. He doesn't undertake to kill him. He was arrested the next morning. The boy, of course, went to the hospital. Police went to the hospital. Inquiry was made. Dalmer was identified, and early the next day, the police went to the Ambrosia Chocolate Company and arrested him at work. Dalmer was taken. The investigating officer, Scott Schaefer, will testify. He will testify how he was brought him to the Detective Bureau, and Schaefer interviewed him at that time. And I want you to hear Schaefer, because if a man is under arrest, that's a time of stress. You're going to see that he's not act psychotically. One of the doctors, Mr. Boyle's doctors, claims he's psychotic. I'm going to bring in all kinds of witnesses, not that just spent 10 hours with Mr. Dalmer, but would spend a lot more time. That they're going to tell you they never observed anything psychotic about Mr. Dalmer. The psychiatrist saw him for 10 hours. We're going to put people on the stand that worked with him and saw Dalmer.
Wolfman just put up another poll for you to answer. Do you got the results of the first poll?
I have a few polls, actually.
Oh, do you? I've only seen two.
Well, did you get the one about the trees?
About the what?
I said, does Mayor need to water his trees? Yes or no? 73% said yes.
No, because it's fake. Can I just use dehydrated water?
That'll work.
Yeah.
You have to get a big can of it, though. It takes extra.
Yeah.
A big can of extra strength dehydrated water.
Yep.
I think
then there was
lights in it.
Then there was what was the most shocking part of the Dalmer case to you? A was how long he was undetected. 2 is police returning the police returning a victim. I think that's what it says. The courtroom confessions or the apartment settings, and it was A. How long he went undetected? 50%. And then, yeah, I think it was the last poll.
It was the. Oh, go ahead.
I think a lot of Dalmer's thing is back then it wasn't as widely accepted.
That's fine.
For people to be gay. And so he was playing on the emotions of they're not going to call the cops because then they have to admit they were involved in some kind of homosexual relationship or was hoping to be, or whatever the case may be, because are the police going to take them seriously? And back then, if the police went to Dalmer, is like, hey, this guy is saying that you were trying to drug him and rape him. What do you have to say? He's going to say, oh, no. He approached me, and I said, I'm not that way. And the cops are going to go, okay, all right. I mean, obviously, they returned a victim to him because he could speak so well, you know.
Right. Milwaukee Police Department took a lot of heat over this whole thing from the gay community in Milwaukee, because the gay community in Milwaukee felt that the police were just poo-pooing and shoving off the stuff anything that happened to the gay people, to gay and lesbian and bisexuals and everything else. That, like, they were pushed aside, you know, that the police department didn't care if something happened to them. And the police department really took a lot of heat about all that. There was a lot of policy changes that happened because of this whole thing.
I can see that.
For thousands of hours and say they never saw him out of touch with reality. They didn't see him with a lack of with free-flowing ideas or a bizarre behavior or out of touch with reality or incoherent speech. The people that spent thousands of hours with him didn't see him like that. people that worked with him never saw him like that, although Mr. Boyle's psychiatrist is going to claim that he's psychotic. In any event, I'll put on the stand Detective Scott Schaefer, who interviewed Mr. Dalmer at the time of his arrest. Again, this is less than a month later. He was arrested on September 27, 1988. On October 7, 1988, he's back getting the drug from the pharmacy, again prescribed by Dr. Carl Olson. That's less than a month after the arrest. On the 10th of February, 1989, Dalmer purchases more tablets of that particular drug from Richard's Pharmacy, prescribed by Dr. Carl Olson. On September the 10th, on March the 10th, 1989, Dalmer pleads guilty to the second-degree sexual assault. That's their 2 counts: enticing and touching, enticing, bringing him off the street into the house, and then sexually touching him in the house. It's 2 counts, and he faced substantial years in prison.
I don't recall if anything ever happened to the doctors that were prescribing him the drug, and I haven't been able to find anything out whether those doctors ever, lost their license or anything like that from this. Back then you didn't have the computer systems we do now, where they could track if you're getting medication from several different doctors. But I don't recall anything happening or seeing anything about anything happening to that doctor.
However, he is given probation. But even before that sentencing takes place, he pleads guilty on March the 10th. He will not be sentenced until May 23rd. That's 2 months later. However, on Saturday, March 25th, 1989, that's 15 days after he pleads guilty, victim number 5, Anthony Sears. Mr. Dalmer met him at La Cage, which is in the gay bar area near 2nd and National. They went to Dalmer's grandmother's house out in West Dallas, where they had sex. Dalmer then drugged the victim and killed him. This is the 5th victim that occurred. As you can see, he was aged 24 years of age on March 25, 1989. On May 23, 1989, he is sentenced for second-degree sexual assault. He received 1 year in the House of Correction and 5 years of probation. 4 days later, on May 27, 1989, he purchased some more drugs from the pharmacy. All right, what happens from then on, the next period? You see a gap there. From that sexual assault on May 23, 1989, the next homicide that takes place is on May 20th of 1990. During a part of that time, he is on what we call work release during this time. He is in the house, as I recall, it's the facility right across the street from here, the St. Anthony's Hospital Center. It used to be St. Anthony's Hospital. It's now a community correctional center. You can walk to Ambrosia Chocolate from there. It's not far from the center. And during that time, during that year, he is
making noise
to work, regularly to work. He comes back and spends the evening at the house at this facility. During that time, for that year, although he's out, he does not initiate any assaults. For 1 year, this period of time, for 1 year, there are no sexual assaults. That's control. That's control. If this were a man out of control, when he was released to go to work, any of those hundreds of days that he was on the street, if he was out of control, he'd be doing sexual assault. But he decides, no, he's at the House of Correction, or there, he's to be there, to be there tonight, and that's where he is.
No, you're good.
Oh, I thought you were saying something. I heard you go,
no, I think my microphone's actually using the other microphone, and never mind. I'm just trying technical difficulties.
Definitely not using that microphone. You sound like you're across the room.
Okay.
Ain't no thing but a chicken wing.
Oh yeah, it moved to my other one.
On March 30th of 1990, he again
there you go. That should be better.
Gets some more pills. By this time, of course, well, he doesn't serve the full year. He sends a letter and he's released a little early. So although he actually was sentenced to the year, he gets out early. And on the 30th of March, 1990, he gets the pills again, the same drug prescribed by Dr. Olson. And on the 31st of March, 1990, he purchases membership in the Unicorn Club Limited, which is a gay club on Halsted Street in Chicago. In other words, he gets the drug here, goes down to Chicago. On Friday, the next day goes, or on Thursday, the next day goes down to Chicago. He registers at the club, the bathhouse there on March 31, 1990, and on Sunday, April 1, 1990, he visits the Unicorn Club. This is also a bathhouse. The operator of that bathhouse will testify, and Mr. Dalmer visits a number of times, and I'll mention that as we go through, visits the bathhouse in Chicago. Again, on the 8th, April 8th of 1990, Mr. Dalmer visits the Unicorn Club Limited in Chicago.
He goes to the bathhouses a lot. He must be really clean.
Right.
On the 12th of April, 1990, he buys more drugs. He's using his drugs in the bathhouse down in Chicago. He purchases 30 tablets again. This was again prescribed by Dr. Olson. On the 13th of April, 1990, goes down to the Unicorn Club again in Chicago. On the 21st of April, 1990, goes to the Unicorn Club in Chicago. On the 27th of April, he had an appointment at DePaul as a part of that condition of probation. He was given a year in the local facility here, and in addition, he's given 5 years probation. The condition of the probation is that he spends a year, a better part of a year, at the local facility. But the probation is to continue for 5 years from the sexual assault charge. This charge, the sexual assault, after he is found guilty, he's sentenced to 5 years probation, the first year to be at the St. Anthony's facility across the street. He served about 10 months across the street, but that 5 years probation continues. And the condition of that probation is that he gets some help. He's got a probation officer, and she is attempting to persuade him. Her name is Donna Chester, to persuade him to get help. He is referred to the DePaul Center. A number of times I'll read contacts with DePaul. Again, he doesn't make the effort. Part of this problem is drinking. You will see when we talk about the homicides, he takes the drinks. He doesn't want to kill them. He says he takes the drinks to put down the inhibitions. At any rate, he makes his first appointment at DePaul. He mixed up the dates, he says, and he canceled that. He moved to an apartment now. During the time that he was out he had surrendered his apartment when he was serving time here at the local lockup. And he moved back out to his grandmother's house. Now he gets his own apartment again at 924 North 25th Street. This is the facility at which he is to kill a number of men. And he moves in there on May 14th, 1990. 5 days later, on Sunday, May 20th of 1990, he met Raymond Smith, also known as Cash D. He met him at the 219 Club, one of the gay clubs. And they went to the address at 924 North 25th Street, where Dalmer drugged him, killed him, and had oral sex with him. This is the first person that he killed there. Now, this is after a year. Well over a year has passed now. He has not killed anyone. He has controlled himself. He was gone down to the bathhouses in Chicago. He's controlled himself while he was serving that time. And you see that the passage of time in the interval that's passed from Mr. Sears, March 25th, 1989, and the next homicide, which is about 14 months later, on or about May 20 of 1990. Again, controlled, obvious control. This is not a man running out of control. On Monday, May 21, 1990, he's used some of his drugs on Mr. Smith. He gets new drugs. He gets 60 tablets prescribed by Dr. Olson. He also purchased a camera on that date, a color camera that he will be using to take pictures. On June the 1st of 1990, he attends a seminar at DePaul Hospital. On the 4th of June, same year, 1990, he attends a seminar at DePaul Hospital. On June 11, 1990, he has a face-to-face meeting with Donna Chester, his probation agent. He says that he prefers male partners but denies being involved in sexual activity. He states that he masturbates to release his sexual urges. And the agent tries to help him, give him advice. Throughout, he will try to say, look at if you can refers him to a facility that helps homosexual men that are having problems. She tells him how to call, how to get in touch. he does not seem to ever exercise that option. He does go to the group therapy at the DePaul Hospital on the 15th of June, the 19th of June, the 20th of June of 1990. Again, on the 22nd of June, he attends group therapy. On Sunday, June 24, 1990, he meets Edward W. Smith, also known as the Sheik, who was last seen at a gay pride parade. Dalmer met him at the Phoenix Bar and took him to his apartment by cab. That's at 924 North 25th Street. They had oral sex. Dalmer gave Smith a drink and strangled him. I may be reading this in one sequence or another, but basically what's happening is with some there's sex before, with some there's sex after. Not all the individuals that he takes out there for one reason or another, as you'll see meet some on the street. Some may be homosexual, some may not be homosexual. Some he has sex with after he drugs them. But again, he drugs them, and then when about the time that they would be coming around and recovering, he then proceeds to strangle them to death. Each of these so far he has strangled to death. Except we do not know how Mr. Tomey died, but the rest have been strangled to death. Again, he missed work Monday. That was on the 24th, Sunday the 24th of 1990. On Monday the 25th of 1990, Dalmer misses work at the Ambrosia Chocolate Company. On the 25th, he also goes out to group therapy at the DePaul Hospital. On the 25th, he also has a face-to-face meeting with his Donna Chester, his probation agent. At that time, this is a day after his involvement with Edward Smith, Dalmer stated that he was gay but had no sexual involvement with male or females. He states that he satisfies his sexual urges with masturbation. Again, on June 20th of 1990, he goes to group therapy at DePaul. On the 30th of June, he goes down to the Unicorn Club bathhouse.
I don't think the group therapy is helping, unless it's not really group therapy. He's going to therapy a lot, and he's escalating. What's wrong with this picture?
Maybe he's doing what some of the people do, where they go to AA looking for a date. You know, maybe he's going there looking for dinner or dinner partner.
Which I'm pretty sure what he was doing when I saw him at AA meetings. He might have been, perusing.
He was looking for his next meal.
Yep.
Partner.
His next dinner guest.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think the masturbation was helping either.
Well, if masturbation would cause somebody to kill, cause you to kill people in that, I would have probably killed more than Pol Pot.
He's apparently doing it wrong.
Yeah, I guess so.
I haven't killed nobody.
Stranglehold. Yeah. I'm strangling it all right.
In Chicago. On the 3rd of July, he has another session, a one-on-one session at DePaul Hospital with Patty Anthony, who is a counselor. They're trying to address his drinking problem first. On Sunday, July 8th, 1990, Mr. Dalmer is at the Phoenix Bar and makes contact with a juvenile. His date of birth at that time, that juvenile, you're going to turn it around. He has an encounter with a male, a 15-year-old boy, on July 8, 1990. And at that time, Mr. Dalmer advises the police what happened out there. He attempted to drug the young man. The young man, he had him lay out on the bed to start posing. At one point, he asked the young man to turn over. When the young man turned over, Mr. Dalmer had secured a mallet. Didn't have drugs available at that time, but he had secured a mallet, and he struck this young man in the back near the neck area with the mallet. The young man was not knocked unconscious. A struggle ensued. He was conscious. They argued back and forth, and this occurred over a period of time.
It was a union job.
Dalmer apparently sobered up some during that time. The young man, Dalmer states the young man left, saying he was going to call the police. Came back, didn't have any money. They talked some more for a number of hours. And then eventually, Dalmer decided to walk the young man to a bus stand. And when the psychiatrist asked him about that, he says, well, he became human. He ceased to be an object to me, and I didn't want to kill him then. And he doesn't kill him. He exercises control and does not kill that man. That young boy. He's a 15-year-old boy. Again, on July the 9th, 1990, this is several days after that contact, a day after that contact with the 15-year-old, Mr. Dalmer sees his Donna Chester, his probation agent, says he's feeling depressed and thinking about suicide. On that 9th again, which is Monday after the incident with the 15-year-old, Dalmer takes a sick day from the Ambrosia Chocolate Company. On Monday, August 27, 1990, again, Dalmer has...
He felt like suicide. Boy, just think how much money he could have saved if he did. Or the state could have saved if he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, later on, another prisoner in for life of that took care of that money savings. Any chance that you do the DC? I've actually thought about that. That might be one that we'll do down the road. I thought about the DC sniper and also the Atlanta child killer one. Those are two that I've thought about too. But if anybody has other suggestions for cases that we might want to tackle in that, or something else that we want to see, feel free to let us know. We'll see what we can do. This one's going to go for a little bit. I'm not going to do the entire trial, but I am going to do the points of importance. Dahmer's testimony, a couple of the, of course, next week, the defense opening statements, a couple of the police officer ones. Some of them are actually pretty short. But this is going to be going on for, quite a few weeks, probably, I bet you 5 or 6 weeks, because we'll have to do the closing arguments and of course the sentencing, the verdict and sentencing and victim impact.
Yeah.
A face-to-face contact meeting with Donna Chester, his probation agent, complains about various problems that he has. He discussed his sexual behavior and stated not what he was really doing, stated that he buys himself pornography books and masturbates. He denies picking up any male partners to Donna Chester. Again, on the 30th of August, 1990, he has a one-on-one session at DePaul.
Vicki, it's actually just over halfway. We'll probably go a little bit. I don't know. Do you guys want to go the last 55 minutes, or do you want to maybe call it quits here shortly and do part 2 of this next week? That's for you, Del and Whoopi.
I don't know. What do you think, Del?
I
can't figure out what kind of toast I want, so
I can barely hear you.
Oh, sorry, I turned it down so you guys couldn't hear the clicking.
click, 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 click.
I don't know. I don't know. What about you, Del? I have projects going on, so I could do that too. So,
we'll just keep going until somebody throws up a red, the white flag.
All right.
Okay. And Luke, if you're still watching, you can go ahead and start spaghetti.
Ooh, spaghetti?
Yeah.
I'll be right over.
I got to finish the wiring in my kitchen.
Shocking.
Yes, hopefully not. I'll be doing it live.
Yeah.
But live.
On Monday, 9/3/90, that is September 3 of 1990, another homicide occurs. And this involves Ernest Miller, a 23-year-old man. Jeffrey Dahmer states that he met him in front of a bookstore in the 800 block of North 27th Street. There's a bookstore in that area. That's roughly 27th and Wells in our city. That he met Mr. Miller there in the street, that they went back to the apartment, that Mr. Miller drugged him and then killed him by cutting his jugular vein. Dalmer said that he was short on pills, didn't have a full dose to give Miller. This is the only person that Dalmer killed with a knife, and that he felt as this man might be coming out of the drug state, he had enjoyed him sexually. As he's coming out of the drug state, Dalmer decides to stab him in the neck, and in that fashion kills him. Again, he goes through the process. We're going to talk about getting rid of the bodies, and Mr. Boyle's remarks has emphasized that, what he's doing with the bodies and so on. That's true. After, however, he's enjoyed the bodies, he enjoys the bodies for a day or two, and then he's tired of them. He doesn't no longer find them sexually attractive, and then it becomes a disposal problem, and how to get rid of those bodies. You may recall with the first incident, Hicks, he's trucking it away in a car when he's stopped by the police. That's back in Ohio in 1978. He does not have a car himself. As I've indicated to you, every one of these victims, he always picks a guy with no car. And why does he do that? Because he doesn't want a car. When the man is killed, there's going to be a car sitting in front of the house. And if there's a missing out on this person, hey, here's his car. And suspicion is going to mount if abandoned cars are plentiful suddenly around his apartment. So for a man who claims he couldn't control himself, he is always very careful to see that he gets a man who doesn't have a car. At any rate, after several days, he's got to dispose of those bodies. And that's a messy job and a dirty job. And he tells Fosdell he didn't like that. He didn't like that part of the job. And that's why it backed up sometimes. He had a couple of bodies there because it was an unpleasant aspect of getting rid of the bodies. But it was a clever way. When all is said and done, he killed 17 men, and there was no one looking for him. He wasn't wanted. It's a very clever way to get rid of the flesh of these people, and to soak the bones in acid. He got acid, would soak the bones and get rid of the bones. He kept mementos of them. He kept skulls of many of them, not all of them, but many of them. And he kept some portions of a couple of the men. And I will talk about that in a few minutes. At any rate, he killed Miller on September 3 of 1990. On September 4 of 1990, he called his probation agent, Donna Chester, and talked with her and said he would get an assessment according to her wishes. On the 15th of September of 1990, he again went to another doctor, Dr. Sinentz, and got 60 tablets of that particular drug. At a particular point, the doctor from whom he had been getting this drug became concerned, thought he was going to get dependent on the drug, confronted Dalmer and said, "Look, I'm concerned you're going to get dependent on this drug." Obviously having no idea, not knowing that Dalmer was lying to him about what he's using the drugs for. And Dalmer switched to another doctor to get those drugs. All right, on September 22nd of 1990, Dalmer visits the Bathhouse Club down in Chicago. 2 visits on the same day. On Saturday, September 22nd, 1990, he went into the bathhouse twice on that day. On the 23rd, Sunday, he visited the Bath Club, the Unicorn Club in Chicago again. He returned to Milwaukee on September 23, 1990, or Monday, September 24, 1990. He met David Thomas. Dalmer states that he met him at 2nd in Wisconsin. This is on the street, 2nd in Wisconsin, and that they went to Dalmer's apartment on North 25th Street. Dalmer drugged him and killed the victim.
And actually, John, you're not too far off. In his testimony, he actually talks about what it tastes like and how he prepared the flesh to eat. It's definitely an eye opener.
In his first 2 statements to the police, Dalmer stated that he did not have sex with him and that he killed Thomas because he didn't want him to recover and get angry at him. That he didn't want Thomas to come out of it and get angry at Dalmer and I didn't tell you, but after Flowers recovered, that was the man that recovered out at the grandmother's house. Flowers will tell you when he testifies, at some later date, he confronted Dalmer at one of the gay taverns and had words with him, and Flowers is a very strong-looking man. At any rate, that was his first statements. He was to change that later, the statements about what he did with Mr. Thomas. But in his first statements to the police, he said he did not have sex with him and killed him because he was concerned if he came out of it, he'd be angry and he would do something to Dalmer. Again, he dismembers the body. On Monday, the 24th, this is the day this occurred, the slaying of David Thomas occurred either on the 23rd or the 24th of September 1990. In any event, on September 24th, Dalmer makes a strong-arm robbery complaint, claimed that $20 was taken from him on the street. And he made that complaint to an officer, Joseph Machika. Officer Machika is going to testify. This is within 24 hours, give or take some, of the slaying of Mr. Thomas. And interesting, also on September 24, 1990, Dalmer has a face-to-face meeting with Donna Chester. And at that time, there was some discussion about a urine test that he had not passed. And Dalmer stated that he had taken a particular drug to sleep. Occasionally, Dalmer, at least in one incident we know for sure, Dalmer tells us, as he was mixing the drugs, he got the cups confused, and he wound up taking the drug rather than the person to whom he was designing it. On the 25th of September 1990, this is 2 days after the slaying, Dalmer misses an appointment at the DePaul hospital. He called his probation agent and told her, Donna Chester, that he'd been robbed and that they had taken $10. Notice $25 complaint to the officer, $10 complaint to Donna Chester. On October 13, 1990, Jeffrey Dalmer met with a psychiatrist, a Dr. Krems. That was on the recommendation of the DePaul people. In the 25th of October, he saw another counselor at DePaul. For a second time, on November 3 of 1990, Dalmer met with Dr. Krems. And he also had, on the 5th of November 1990, had his carpet cleaned. We're going to bring in the carpet cleaners. There was blood on the carpet, apparently blood on the carpet. And the carpet cleaner will advise you what he observed and so on while he was with.
He's just carpet clean. Maybe you should have got Manscaped. Oh, did I say that loud?
Mr. Dalmer. On November the 9th of 1990, Dalmer saw Dr. Krems. Dr. Krems, and this is in Dr. Krems' report in terms of his psychiatric notes, concludes that Dalmer is not psychotic, as did the psychiatrists for the state of Wisconsin and the court-appointed psychiatrist who concluded that Mr. Dalmer was not psychotic. At any rate, Dr. Krems concluded that in his notes. On the 18th of January, 1991, Dalmer purchased a dummy surveillance camera from an electronic store. He was very concerned about someone entering the apartment and finding some body parts that he had there. He always knew it was wrong. He kept the place locked, had it posted. You will see pictures of that where he had posted, alarmed. He brought in this dummy camera to try to convince people if a burglar broke in to say, hey, get out of this place. Don't go into the bedroom where he kept some of the parts, some of the skulls that he was collecting. On the 11th of January 1991, he received a prescription from Dr. Crowley. Dr. Crowley is a psychiatrist that, again, his probation officer had recommended that he see. On the 24th, strike that, on the 4th of February 1991, Dalmer goes down to the bathhouse in Chicago. On the 5th of February 1991, Dalmer obtains 15 more of the particular drug from a Dr. Bruce Hong. We will call him to testify as well. On the 9th, this is 4 days, he gets more drugs. 4 days later, he goes down to the bathhouse in Chicago at the Unicorn Club. Again, he indicates to the psychiatrist that a number of times he met men down there and drugged them and had relations with them. On the 17th of February 1991, on the street at a bus stop, the defendant met Curtis Straughter. Mr. Straughter was a 19-year-old man at that time. Strike that, a 17-year-old man at that time. Mr. Straughter, now we've gone through David Thomas. We're now at Curtis Straughter, age 17. On February 17, 1991, Dalmer met him on a street corner near a bus stop. Met with him. They went to Dalmer's apartment. Dalmer drugged him, had oral sex, and strangled the victim with a strap. Took some photos at the time, then dismembered him. On the 18th of February, 1991, Dalmer was a no-show at the probation office. And you'll see the pattern is the same. When Dr. Rosen tried to help him after the exposure case, he refused help. When Donna Chester, the probation officer, tried to assist him, he refused help. When DePaul tried to address the drinking problem, he continued to drink on the weekends, ignoring their efforts. Responsibility is the issue here, just rejecting any efforts at help. On the 25th of February, 1991, Dalmer called his probation officer, Donna Chester, stating he was sick with the flu, and he would miss that appointment on that particular day. On Friday, the 22nd of March, he secures 60 more of this particular drug from Dr. Hong. Several weeks later, on April 7, 1991, another victim falls. That is victim number 11, Mr. Lindsay. He is age 19 years of age. Mr. Dalmer meets him at 27th and Kilburn, which is near his apartment. It's a street corner meeting, and Dalmer takes him to the apartment where Dalmer drugged and strangled the victim and then had oral sex with him and then dismembered him. Again, he keeps these bodies for several days, generally to enjoy them. And again, he took a sick day, that was on a Sunday that he slew Mr. Lindsay, and the next day, Monday and Tuesday, he took 2 days off from Ambrosia Chocolate Company. On Friday, the 12th of April 1991, he had a face-to-face meeting with Donna Chester, his probation officer. He claimed that things were going well for him at the time. On Monday, May 20th, 1991, Dalmer purchased 16 gallons of muriatic acid and 6 gallons of Soilex cleaner, and 1 pair of stripping and refining gloves from the National Ace Hardware. It decided that to speed up the operation of acidifying the flesh and the bones, buying this muriatic acid with the intent to facilitate the disposition of the flesh and the bones. On Friday, the 24th of 1991, he buys 60 more of the drug from a Walgreens, again prescribed by Dr. Hong. On Friday, the 24th, that very day of 1991, another victim would fall, Tony Hughes. Mr. Hughes, as you can see from is 31 years of age at the time. Mr. Hughes is a man that does not speak. He has a hearing problem. And he was, Mr. Dalmer met him and at the 219 Club, which is in the gay club area, and both went to Dalmer's apartment where Dalmer drugged Hughes, killed him, and dismembered him. On Monday, the 27th of 1991, and this is a Conarac synthesymphone incident. And this is, I ask you to pay particular attention here. They're all obviously vitally important. At any rate, Dalmer tells us that he met Conarac synthesymphone in the mall, the Wisconsin Avenue Mall, and talked him into coming up to the apartment to pose for pictures. That they went up to the apartment, and that at that time, Mr. Dalmer prepared the drug drink, gave it to the young man. And at first he does not say it, but later he said he used a drill on this young man's head. But at any rate, the man is Mr. Synthesymphone, young Synthesymphone. He is taken to that apartment and given the drug. And Mr. Dalmer goes out to get more alcohol. While Conarac Synthesymphone, he leaves Synthesymphone in the apartment. Synthesymphone has apparently enough altogether to get out onto the street. He is naked, and he makes his way from the apartment, it's about roughly a block, down 25th Street to the area of 25th and State. He is under the influence now of this drug, and at that time, some citizens see him, and the police are summoned. A fire truck comes, the police come, and Mr. Dalmer is there. Mr. Dalmer comes up on the scene. Mr. Dalmer, at that time, still claims he's been drinking. And young Synthesymphone is there. Young Synthesymphone is talking in native Laotian. He's under the influence of the drug that Mr. Dalmer has administered to him. These are somewhat experienced officers. One of them has at least 8 years. And they're there on the street corner, they start talking. And they will testify, as I told you during the voir dire, they will testify their observations. Dalmer persuades them that this is simply a gay friend of his, that Conarac is a gay friend of his, Dalmer's, and the police and Dalmer go back to Dalmer's apartment. Dalmer shows them some pictures that he has taken of Mr. Synthesymphone. Before he left Synthesymphone, he had taken some pictures. The officers talk for several minutes with Mr. Dalmer while young Synthesymphone is there, and they will testify. They're not talking to an incoherent man. They're not talking to a man out of control. They're not talking to a man that's incoherent. It's got a flight of ideas, that's suffering from a delusion or suffering from hallucinations. He persuades those officers. He is in control of the situation. He persuades those officers that Conarac Synthesymphone is a friend of his that's been staying there for several days. And the young man, who is 14 years of age, he persuades the officers that everything's okay, and they leave. And not long after they leave, or after they leave, he decides that he will undertakes, he says, to do some additional drilling with Conarac synthesymphone. Again, and synthesymphone dies. I hope you will listen carefully to what those officers say, because you have persons right there near him that can testify as to whether he's in any out-of-control state. Does a man who was out of control leave synthesymphone there in the apartment in the first place to go and get more beer? Or is it a person that needs more alcohol to continue with a job that even he finds grisly? Again, on the 24th of May, I've covered that already. On May 27, 1991, after Dalmer, I mentioned that, is met at the Grand Avenue Mall. We've gone over that, what happened inside the home and outside the home. And Dalmer performed oral sexual activities and anal sexual activities on Conarac synthesymphone. The day after that, which is a Tuesday, Dalmer took a day off, a personal day off from the chocolate company. On Tuesday, the 28th of 1991, which is 1 or 2 days later, he meets again with Donna Chester, complains, as he often does in those meetings, and agrees to see Dr. Crowley. On June the 30th of 1991, victim number 14, Matt Turner, meets Jeffrey Dalmer at a bus station in Chicago. Dahmer's been going down to Chicago. He meets this man, Matt Turner, at the bus station in Chicago, and induces him to come up to Milwaukee. That's got to take some persuasion. You can bet on that. Do you think he was dealing with an out-of-control, incoherent man, or a person who could be persuasive? All these people that go out to the apartment with him. At any rate, they come up. Mr. Matt Turner comes up from Chicago. Dalmer gets him into the apartment, drugs him, has sex with him, uses a strap to strangle him to death.
The two cops that gave Conarac synthesymphone back to Dalmer were fired on September 7th for leaving an obviously incapacitated naked boy with the hands of Jeffrey Dalmer 2 months before. I think one of them was actually fired, and the other one took a volunteer retirement, but lost his pension and everything in the process.
Yeah.
No, they never got indicted. They just ended up with having their law enforcement credentials removed from them and banned from ever being a police officer again.
On the 5th of July, 1991, Mr. Dalmer is again down in Chicago. He meets in a bar. He meets a Jeremiah Weinberger in a bar. They take a Greyhound back to Milwaukee and go to Dalmer's apartment. At that time, they have oral sex. Dalmer drugs him and proceeds to strangle the victim. On the 15th of July, 1991, Mr. Dalmer meets Oliver Lacey at 27th Street between State and Kilburn and induces him to come to his apartment. They go to Dalmer's apartment. He says to pose for photos. Dalmer drugs him and strangles the victim, and Dalmer says he then had anal sex with him after that. And that he saved the head of Mr. Lacey. Again, on the 15th of July of 1991, he has been so often late and missed so many days at the chocolate factory that his boss meets with him and suspends him. And you're going to hear from his boss, as a man that he worked for and spent, as I say, thousands of hours, who will tell you whether he thinks he suffers from any. In fact, he will tell you that he does not suffer, in his opinion, from any mental difficulty, at least from his experience with work. On the 16th of July, Dalmer called his probation officer, Donna Chester, and said that he had missed an appointment with her and that told her that he had been fired. She urges him to see Dr. Crowley. On the 19th of July, 1991, Mr. Dalmer meets at a bus stop on the west side of our city, meets Joseph Bredehoft, and persuades Joseph Bredehoft to go to the apartment with him. There's drugging involved in oral sex, and Dalmer strangles this man with a strap and then proceeds to dismember him. That was to be the last of the 17 victims of Mr. Dalmer. On the 22nd of July of 1991, Mr. Dalmer had contact with one Tracy Edwards at the Grand Avenue Mall and induced him to return to the apartment. Mr. Dalmer, the drugging, he either did not have the sufficient drugging pills. At any rate, there was a dispute developed between he and Mr. Edwards, and Mr. Edwards made it out of the apartment alive and summoned police, who returned, and the arrest of Mr. Dalmer ensued. Dalmer was then first interviewed early hour mornings of July 23, 1991. I've been taking a great deal of time on this, and I'm sorry, but I think it was important to see all those dates, to see what was transpiring, to get a picture that is not just starkly the slayings as they occurred. Let's talk briefly about the taking of any flesh for the purposes of eating it. There were two persons that he spoke of that he took flesh to eat. He told both doctors he was curious about it. Did it out of curiosity. The first one was Ernest Miller. By that time, the whole backboard was covered with the number of people that he had slain by that time, whatever it is, 7th or 8th or 9th. This is the first man, Ernest Miller, that he decided out of curiosity to try it, to take some of his flesh. The other person whose flesh he cut was Oliver Lacey. He took some of Oliver Lacey's. At first, he didn't say anything to the police about that. Then he said, yeah, he had taken flesh once, then told the police he had taken it several times. He told one of our psychiatrists that he did it 6 times with these two, from flesh from these two men. He told another one of our psychiatrists 10 times. So basically, it started with out of curiosity, and this is a man now that has killed a number of men, who is in every sense outside the law, in every sense of the word. I'm going to talk only briefly about, may I have the overhead here? I'll turn that. While they're moving that, I'd like to speak to the zombie issue as well. The attempt to inject something into the head. In both cases, he did not want to kill these men. He wanted to keep them, he wanted to keep them alive. His idea was to have what sometimes in the literature, what might be called a sex slave, a person of very reduced mentality that would be under his power. Not dead, mind you, but alive. Indeed, as he said to our expert in terms of what his wishes were and what his choices were, he preferred the person to be alive. Both of the experts indicated that, to which that rather than a dead body, he preferred a live body. He preferred a totally compliant live body. And that meant a drugged body, and he preferred the body drugged. It was a diminution when life was taken. It wasn't as interesting. He liked to hear the heart. He liked the aliveness of the body, but the drug only lasted so long. Indeed, he told the police that he tried to extend it with ether. They found ether in the apartment, that he tried to keep them under. When the drug, after a period of time, the drug would wear off. He didn't have intravenous apparatus to put the drug in. So as they try to come out of it, he attempted to extend the drug period by the use of ether, but he was not successful in that attempt. And eventually, he heard one time on TV or radio that you could freeze. People were dry freezing their pets, and you could dry freeze a pet as though it were alive, and that he would prefer even that. First, the live, very, very compliant person, such a person you do not find. Then the drug-compliant person. Finally, the person, the dry freeze, if you will. And last, the body, having the body, a dead body. That was the last choice, not the first choice. I'd like to talk to you about the law. Maybe right there. This is the law that you will be deciding, the judge will be instructing us. 971:15, mental responsibility of defendant. The person is not responsible for criminal conduct if at the time of such conduct, as a result of mental disease or defect, he lacks substantial capacity either to appreciate the wrongfulness of his conduct or to conform his conduct to the requirements of the law. All right, there's no issue of defect here. Everyone agrees Mr. Dalmer is of at least average intelligence. We're not talking about a person that is a mental defective. That's not in this picture at all. So the issue is mental disease. And there will be discussion and debate, disagreement between the psychiatrists on this. There is what's called the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of the American Psychiatric Association. They list what they call mental disorders, and paraphilias is one of those mental disorders. It's a new type of word. The old word used to be sex deviant. That was a word that some viewed as an insulting word because of the various categories that went under that. And the word paraphilia is a relatively new word. The deviation that would be involved here would be interest in a dead body, or sexual interest in a dead body. Well, the newer word for it is called a paraphilia. And the doctors for the defense and the doctors for the state will say, yes, he had a paraphilia. He did take pleasure out of a dead body, and that is referred to as a disorder within that manual. However, the doctor will say, Dr. Dietz particularly will say that that mental disease is not, that you see in this statute, is not the type of mental disorder that they're talking about in that manual. And indeed, that manual on its face will tell you that you can't overlap the two, merely because it's called a mental disorder in the manual. The manual itself warns you that that doesn't mean it's going to be a mental disease under the law. So there will be a discussion about that. You will hear testimony about that. And then you will hear testimony about whether he lacked substantial capacity to either appreciate the wrongfulness of his conduct or to conform his conduct to the requirements of the law. And these are some of the examples that you will see in terms of to appreciate it. When Dr. Dietz, and I'd like to take a minute or two to introduce Dr. Dietz in his absence. Dietz is educated at the Cornell Medical School, also took some Cornell undergraduate, took advanced medical education and advanced psychiatry and studied in that process at Johns Hopkins. He went to Harvard and taught at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, went to the University of Virginia, where he held an assistant professor position in both the Faculty of Law and the Faculty of Medicine. He was the key government psychiatrist in the Hinckley case. He has testified on other serial murder cases. He has written on serial murder cases, has lectured on serial murder cases, and will bring to bear that experience. I will also ask you to check his thoroughness. Watch the number of hours that he spends before he formulates his opinion. The doctors formulated their opinions and submitted them to the court prior to January 10, 1991. The court ordered it, as is proper under the statute, that those opinions be submitted. See the number of hours, the thoroughness with which the respective doctors, all of them. I invite you to measure my doctors against it, measure the defendant's doctors. How many hours did you spend with the defendant interviewing him? Did you get all the facts? Did you discuss all the cases? How did you handle it? Did you work independently and so on? I invite you to evaluate my experts. I urge.
Yeah, you're right. Ernest Miller was killed because he was a witness. There was a body on the floor in Dalmer's apartment. That was the one that Dalmer ended up saying that he wasn't attracted to it, and so he just dismembered the body and got rid of it and didn't save any trophies.
You to evaluate. And when we were doing the voir dire, I asked you to consider.
Right, Wolfman? Oh yeah, John Wayne Gacy killed 32 children, young boys, and hit them in the crawl space of his house.
Does sound right, yeah.
Their qualifications and thoroughness and experience. I invite you to do that. All right, Dr. Dietz, in talking with the defendant over a 3-day period that he talked with him.
Oh, by the way, hi, Tina. But what Dalmer did was far more grotesque than what John Wayne Gacy did, with the necrophilia, with the cannibalism, with the shrines of skulls. It just, the grossness, the amount wasn't as big as Gacy, but it was definitely grosser than Gacy. Even though I can't admit, I remember when they were going through Gacy's house, exhuming all the bodies from under in the crawl space and all that. The house got to the point where the house was so ready to collapse, and it was so structurally damaged from getting the bodies out of it.
Dalmer told him that the time that he killed each of these 15 victims, he appreciated that it was wrong to kill the victim.
How you doing?
He further told Dr. Dietz that the fact that Mr. Dalmer, in some instances, took steps to reduce the chances that he would be identified as the last person seen with the victim. We're talking about his knowing that it's wrong. He doesn't want to be seen because he knows that it's wrong. The fact that Mr. Dalmer in each instance committed the charged offense in a private setting, hidden from the view of others. You sometimes have heard of an irresistible impulse. There was a case in Michigan of a person, an angry man, rushing into a crowded bar and shooting someone else when he heard that this man had violated his wife, going right in front of a crowd and shooting somebody. Hidden, and Mr. Dalmer, all these cases, all these incidences were done out of view. The fact that Mr. Dalmer found it necessary to drink alcohol to overcome his inhibitions against killing the victims. He told the psychiatrist how he had to drink the alcohol to get down his inhibitions before he would go on killing. The fact that Mr. Dalmer feared being caught in the killing of a victim or in the presence of a drugged, comatose, or dead or dismembered victim. Didn't want to be caught there because he knew it was wrong, obviously. The fact that Mr. Dalmer took elaborate steps to destroy evidence of his crimes and to hold it, to get rid of the bodies, and to hold it secure against discovery by others, including his techniques for disposal of bodies. And for at one point he concealed a head in various cases and so on, how he secured his apartment, how he locked it, how he marked it with that it was protected with an alarm, how he had an alarm, how he put in this dummy camera, all of it reflecting he knows what he's doing is wrong. If he thought it wasn't wrong, he wouldn't be doing that, obviously. And then he painted the skulls. At one point he painted the skulls because he was afraid someone would see them and think they were real. So he got some spray paint and painted them so that they would look artificial. You perhaps have yourself seen artificial skulls. In terms of whether he had the capacity to control himself, I think, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, at this particular point, he lacked substantial capacity to appreciate the wrongfulness of his conduct. Mr. Boyle did not speak to that issue when he lectured to you, when he spoke to you. I have spoken to it. I have told you that Mr. Dalmer said often when he was asked, yes, he knew that what he was doing was wrong. He said it to the police, he said it to our psychiatrists. And I do not know if you'll see any evidence to the contrary. All right, what about the capacity to control? Did I keep that free? That light? Would you turn it on as if that's possible? The battery press turned out. Let me speak to it. Apparently the light turned out. The issue of control. And was he able to control
himself? Go ahead, John.
I've addressed on that a number of times, touching even with the first case, the jogger case, where he didn't have to go out ravenous through the park looking for someone to knock down. The jogger didn't appear, and that was it. And he didn't do anything. He said he was 15 or 16. He didn't do anything until the Hicks incident was 2 years later. 2 years later that he decided to act. In the Hicks incident, all through the military, that he did not assault anyone. When he was at his grandmother's house, the period that he was on work release, that he didn't assault anyone. That he went down to the bathhouses and didn't assault anyone in the bathhouses in Chicago. Never broke into an apartment to assault anybody. No evidence that a man out of control breaks into an apartment and assaults and kills another man so they can have his dead body. No evidence that he grabbed anybody on the street and used force to pull him off the street. Always a carefully controlled environment where he picks a man that has no car, brings him back to his place where he operates, where he has the drugs ready, he's prepared the drugs, he's got an environment that's protected where he's not going to be discovered, and so forth. I'm going to touch upon some of the items that Dr. Dietz points out as evidences of the control that the defendant had in his professional opinion. The fact that Mr. Dalmer told Dr. Dietz that at the time he killed each of these 15 victims, he would have refrained from doing so had the victims agreed to remain with him voluntarily for a few weeks. If they had said no, Weinberger came up for 2 days. The man from Chicago, Weinberger, he didn't kill him the first day. He enjoyed him. The second day, when Weinberger starts, he's got to go back to Chicago. That's when he kills Weinberger. And what he told Dietz is, no, if they had stayed for a couple of weeks, I would not have killed them. He wanted them alive. He wanted the pleasure while they were alive. Second, the fact that Mr. Dalmer told Dr. Dietz that at the time he killed each of these 15 victims, he would have refrained from doing so had a witness entered the room. Under control, would not have proceeded for witness. You can think of the Flowers case where the grandmother discovers that there's a man in the house. That's it. That's the end of the plan for Flowers. He does not proceed to kill Flowers. The same with the juvenile, that struggled with him, that he hit with a mallet, that he struggled with. He let that man go when he came to his senses, let that man go too. The fact that the fact that Mr. Dalmer was able to suppress his sexual behavior other than occasional masturbation for prolonged periods of time in the military, at his mother's house, at the grandmother's house, and so on. The fact that Mr. Dalmer was able to satisfy his sexual desires with masturbation at all times. The fact that Mr. Dalmer did in fact satisfy himself exclusively with masturbation from about 1973 until the murder of Mr. Hicks in 1978. And from that time until the Tuolumne incident, indeed until the incident after that, where he had whatever those desires were.
Makes it sound like masturbation is bad.
Hey, it keeps me.
Say it. You know you want to.
I ain't saying it.
You want to, though. No, I didn't, Lisa. I'll have. Where's it at? No, he's not Mr. Dalmer, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, saying the word Mr. is a sign of respect. There's nothing respectful.
Yeah, there's nothing respectable about him.
Under control. The fact that Mr. Dalmer prepared himself for some of the murders by clearing spaces in his apartment for victim storage, by powdering the tablets in advance. In a number of the cases, he powdered the tablets before he went out to look for a victim and have the tablets ready, so when he would turn, he would be prepared to drug them, to proceed with them sexually as he wished. And by occasionally working himself up by watching movies that featured evil or particularly powerful characters. The fact that Mr. Dalmer generally limited the murders to the weekends when he would have had sufficient time to enjoy the sex with the drugged person and then afterwards with the dead body. The fact that Mr. Dalmer did not kill any of the men he was attracted to while in bars or on the street or at the wall or in the pizza booths. It was always
pause it real quick.
Yep.
Okay. Luke's wanting to say hello.
Hey, Luke, how you doing?
Mayor, say how you did.
Heard you won your last game this year. Awesome.
You heard that you won your last game this year. Yeah. Yep.
Awesome, okay. Dude.
He's making dinner, so.
Cool. I want dinner.
All right, you can go back to it.
Controlled, always controlled, back to his house. The fact that Mr. Dalmer did not kill those men whom he found attractive and had rendered unconscious, even after lowering his own inhibitions through drinking, where the bathhouse setting would preclude readily escaping detention. While he overdrugged people and there were complaints, there were no attacks in the bathhouses. And indeed, as the doctor points out, there were several men that came to his house, as we know that he says, visited his apartment that he drugged but did not slay, that he decided not to proceed with the slaying, although he had drugged them. We do not know who those men are, but Mr. Dalmer has spoken of them. The fact that Mr. Dalmer did not kill men he had drugged unless he continued to find them sufficiently attractive to warrant further steps. These are the men of which I have spoken. The fact that Mr. Dalmer reported that after rendering each of his victims unconscious, he voluntarily drank additional alcohol for the purpose of overcoming his natural inhibitions against killing them. And the fact that Mr. Dalmer did in each instance wait until the victim was in his place of residence, under his control, and behind closed doors before killing that particular victim. I would like to quote, finally, some quotes, and I'll end with this. Quotes from Dr. Fosdal. Dr. Fosdal is a state psychiatrist. He's experienced, as you will see, in the state of Wisconsin, a wanted psychiatrist from our state. He's testified often in our courts, found some people sane, found some people insane. You will see that. He examined him over 5 times, over a substantial number of hours. And I'm going to quote from some of the things that he is quoting of Mr. Dalmer. This is a quote from Mr. Dalmer. When asked, Dalmer said, "I had been doing so many terrible things that I became desensitized. I was completely desensitized. It didn't bother me. It had to be done to dispose of the remains. The Ambassador Hotel incident was a mistake. I had to rush around to make sure that it wasn't discovered. The only way I knew how to dispose of it, I couldn't leave a whole body in the trunk. It got progressively easier to do to the bodies. It was just a part of the procedure. In other words, it agreed that a human being can adapt to anything like shooting people in combat. Went on, further said that killing, quote, got so routine, close quote, that Dalmer was able to concentrate on his work. Said that, quote, on purpose, close quote, he did not ask them who they were so that he would not get to know them, quote, so they were objects, close quote. You may recall the one young man, when he got to know him, he didn't proceed to kill him. He didn't want to know them, didn't want to get to know them. Testified, as I mentioned already, that he experimented with the portions of the part slices of the two bodies, only two bodies, Mr. Lacey and Mr. Miller. Further quote from Dr. Fosdell, the urge was to keep them with me, to masturbate and play with them. This road overrode any normal hesitation to have second thoughts about killing them. Then on further with Fosdell, I then asked him what he thought was wrong with him, and he said, my consuming lust to experience their bodies. The desire never left. There were times that I couldn't fulfill it because of time and work reasons. There were times I couldn't fulfill it because of time and work reasons. He had to go to work. That's what he said, at least, about the first juvenile that was the subject of the second-degree sexual assault. You may recall, he said, oh, he had to go to work. I couldn't proceed with killing him because I had to go to work. The focus of my life was to find fulfillment and satisfaction with good-looking guys. The cannibalism, as he termed it, and the saving of body parts were just offshoots. Just having them for a few nights was not enough. Then I got into the offshoots, and but they couldn't be kept indefinitely. And finally, he said in talking about killing, said killing was not the satisfying part. Killing was just a means to an end. I told you that he preferred live people, even preferred the zombie, the experiment there. Said, quote, no, I didn't get a kick out of all that at all, the killing. That's why I tried to make it as painless as possible while they were asleep. I wasn't into torture, end of quote. Quote, or again, he further stated that killing the individuals and dismembering them was not part of his sexual act. This is not a man that enjoys the killing, that says, I enjoy the killing. He had to drink to overcome the inhibitions. Found it distasteful. Psychiatrists call it aversive. But it was a means, as he put it, a means to an end. He wanted to continue the pleasure. After had them while they were conscious, had them drugged, they're coming out of the drugging, the ether wouldn't do it. Okay, you kill them, you have a couple more days at least with their body. You can do what you wish with their body. Then continuing, when Fosdell discussed with him the disregard for human life that was involved, Dalmer said, I viewed them as objects, as strangers. If I knew them, I could not have done it. Also, the alcohol helped. He talked about that he'd used the alcohol. He said that he was usually intoxicated when he gave the mixture of the drug. That a couple of times when he was somewhat sober, when he gave the mixture, he had drank earlier, but he did not feel intoxicated. He said at that time it was harder. It increased his lustful desires if he had had alcohol. And, quote, this is a direct quote, alcohol just put me in a better mood. It made me feel, it increased the lustful desire. It removes inhibitions. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I've talked for a long time. You've been very patient. You're probably wondering about lunch.
I am.
We will put on, not just the psychiatrists, we will put on numerous people that spent thousands of hours with Mr. Dalmer. And I will ask you to listen carefully to what they have to say, to listen to our psychiatrists, evaluate their competence, evaluate their thoroughness in this matter. I profoundly and deeply appreciate your attention. I know my saintly dear mother used to say, whenever I'd be giving a public speech, Mike, talk no more than 20 minutes. After that, everybody quits listening. I know you haven't quit listening. I've seen your eyes. That takes intense dedication. I thank you for it.
Jurors are excused for lunch. I ask counsel to remain.
Where are you? Ah, wrong button. Yeah, I lost my thingy.
Did Dalmer get it?
I don't know. It's
yes,
hidden.
Billy. Lunch, the Dalmer special. Bloody Marys all around. Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, damn thing is not lit. Oh, well, we'll have to go with that. Oh, yeah. Toe Jam and some other. Oh, there it is. Just finally found it.
That was me.
There we go. I think the prosecution did a good job of laying out timelines. You know, the everything needed to go forward there, very complete. Really got the attention of the jury, and put everything in a way that everybody could understand it real well. It's one of the.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, your turn.
I liked how not only did he do the timeline of this is when he started, this is who he killed and whatnot, but also tacking into, and he saw Dr. So-and-so this day and this date, and to show that he had plenty of opportunities to get help versus he had no chance of getting help. He didn't have any therapist involvement, nothing like that, to show they're going to try to play him as insane, but he knew exactly what he was doing because he was seeing a therapist. He snowed everybody thinking that he was this great person. But yeah, I mean, it was a good timeline that he had done there.
Whoopi.
Yo.
Were you awake?
Partially.
Partially.
Yeah, the whole thing's just crazy. Like you were saying earlier, is that he found, going through everything. Like, did they find all of this stuff just from what he said, or that's like some of it's really detailed.
Extremely. A lot of the stuff they got is stuff they found out from Dalmer himself. They were very their investigation, once they had him in the custody, and that he was very forthcoming with information. They also found out from like what happened at the clubs and that from other people that saw him at clubs. Mm-hmm. They were just so detail oriented when it come to the investigation, and then putting it all together and making it a timeline that was understandable and just being so complete.
Yeah,
he was a talker.
Yeah, he gave a lot of the details of himself to them, and then they used it for building this presentation. It's going to be interesting next week. It's going to be the defense's opening statement, and it's not as long as this one, but looking forward to seeing how they start countering all this.
That's what I'm looking forward to, is seeing how they're able to try to swing it. That
positive into the negative.
Yeah, he did do this. He admitted to doing this, but he was crazy.
Yeah, how are they gonna show everybody that he's insane?
Well, he did do it, and he had to drink to do it. So, alcohol was a problem. That's not really his fault. That's the alcohol's or the bar that's serving him or something.
That's our legal drug.
Yep.
And like I said, when I met him, that was in 89. 89 or 90 when I saw him at AA meetings. For all I know, especially since that he was going to doing group therapy and everything else, maybe he was at those AA meetings, not really perusing for possible victims, but it might have been court ordered.
Yeah.
That he was going to it.
I was gonna say, because it showed that he was doing it in what, 78, I think I saw. I probably put down earlier.
78 was when he killed his first person in Ohio. He killed that one guy in Ohio. And then he didn't kill anybody again until 87. And it was
87 was a good year, though. Year I was born, so it was a good year.
Yep. We wouldn't have our meat over our sandwich if it wasn't for you being born in 87. But I don't remember all the facts and all that from this opening. This is the first time I've seen the opening statement since 92, when it was on television. And plus I was working at the time, so I couldn't keep up with all the facts and everything that was being laid out. So hearing about him, that he was in group therapy and one-on-one therapy, maybe he was at those AA meetings that I was at, because that was ordered to, or whether or not he was cruising, because it didn't look like he was really, he'd come in, go to the meetings, really never talked or anything, and left. It's not like he hung around and talked to everybody, like going to one of the AA clubs. We have AA clubs that have a bar in it, of course, no alcohol.
Oh,
Some of them have food at them, and soda and chips and all that stuff, and pool tables, and it's almost like going to a bar without alcohol. And then they had the meetings at certain times and all that. And they had several meeting rooms. They might have a men's only meeting or a regular everybody meeting or a first step meeting, whatever. But it'd be a place to go and hang out in kind of a healthy surrounding. The times that I saw him, he came for the meetings and then left. He never hung around to socialize like a lot of people did.
yeah.
Maybe he's just passing notes.
Yeah, so
I mean, that makes Meet Me Later a whole different way of.
Oh
yeah. Yeah.
Hey, want to go out for dinner?
Meet me later. Right on my plate.
Nabel, I don't think that he was there really hunting. Maybe at that time he wanted to try to quit drinking, or I don't remember. A lot of times that people that are ordered to go in, they have to show proof, so they have to have a sheet signed that they were at this meeting at that time. I don't remember ever seeing anything like that. The leader of that particular AA meeting usually signs off on that. I don't remember ever seeing a sheet like that. So whether he was there on his own accord, or that his counselor said he was going to, pizza, lucky you, or his counselor wanted him to go to try to quit drinking, or if he was there, scoping out the wares. I don't know. I can't say. I didn't see him a lot. I think between a couple of different places that I went to meetings, I seen him 4, 5, 6 times maybe. But as soon as the arrest happened, I saw the picture and I go, "Oh my God, I know who that is," or I've seen him. I never had any kind of interactions with him. I don't remember him really ever sharing or anything. He just more or less kind of just sat there and took it in. Didn't really say anything. Didn't really share his experiences or what he's doing or anything like that or what's happening. So I have no idea. It just seemed like anybody that, especially if they're new into the program, they're usually very quiet, very, guarded and everything else. And that's pretty much how he was.
Trying to feel it out and see if it's something maybe it would work for him, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you never know. Yeah. That was the first time I did AA, and I just decided, I'd rather drink for a while. And then a couple years later, shit hit the fan, and that's when I stopped drinking altogether.
Who knows? Maybe it's a good thing you didn't go back.
Yeah. Because it's been lunch.
There would be no sandwich.
Yeah. I could have been the meat in that sandwich.
Very possible.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see. We've been 2.5 hours.
Wow.
That's a new record for us. Next week we're going to be doing the defense opening statements. It's only it's half as long as this one, so it's not going to be crazy drawn out. And a lot of the other ones we're going to be showing are a lot less time. So this was I think is the longest one of all of them that we'll be watching. But we got through it.
Yes, we did.
So I know Dell's got to go eat spaghetti, and Wolfman's got to do whatever Wolfman does. Oh yeah, electrical.
Yeah.
Yep. Remodeling the kitchen.
Thank you, Nay.
Yes, she is very pretty, and she's even prettier in real life. And I have seen her in real life. All right. Well, we're going to close this out. Thank everybody for coming. Please share this out. Try to get other people to subscribe. Go check out the shorts. Wolfman works real hard at making little shorts, just little fun things. 2 of them that he dropped today have already got a huge amount of views, and let's keep those counts going. There's a premiere that it wasn't really a premiere, but a long form one when we were talking about ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
If these court ones work like this, we'll keep doing a bunch of these. As long as everybody does the newer stuff. I want to go back and do some of the older stuff, like the DC shooter or the Atlanta child killers or stuff like that. But really, especially if there is video of the court cases itself.
Before I forget, the last poll was how many people died during his murder spree from 78 to 91, and the choices was 26, 21, 17, or 13. And 26 got 16%, 21 got 11%, 13 got 16%, and the correct answer of 17 is 60%. That is the winner.
Hey, all right.
If you guess 17, pat yourself on the back, give yourself a shoulder slap, and a like.
Yes, the show, sharing the show, the trial was showed live on WITI TV4 in Milwaukee, which was the only station that broadcast it. It wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't broadcast national at all, just regional. And then Court TV about 5 or 6 years ago did a whole series of it on A&E, which is where all these videos are coming from that we're showing. So I want to thank Court TV and A&E for putting them out there so that we can use them. It's gonna definitely make it interesting. I'm going to look for the day that I was in the trial so I can see if I can see myself in the out in the gallery.
Will you have hair?
I had hair, not a lot more than I do now. I was getting pretty damn bald back then.
I was just wondering if you didn't have like these long locks of hair.
Actually, I did have a very long ponytail. I was completely bald up here, but I let it all grow out, and I had a ponytail.
Mother, tell your children not to walk my way.
He's bringing me like a strand of spaghetti to see if it's ready yet.
Sling it on the wall and see if it sticks.
Just chew it. See if it sounds like
That's that's what I keep testing
Chew it. If it feels like something you'd want for dinner, it's good.
You want me to just bring you the whole pot?
No, you ain't bringing me the whole pot. Oh goodness.
I'd like the whole pot. Hold on.
I thought it was Court TV bought Law and Crime for $100 million, from what I heard.
You know what I want to see right now? Man, I wish my channel could go live right now. My Rant Den channel can't go live yet until tomorrow, I think. But the OJ run.
Oh, the low chase.
I, for some reason, just want to watch his chase happen. I don't know. It's dumb, but
we can put that on the list. I was working at the bar and restaurant back then, and we had it on the television in the bar. And I tell you, there was, or in the up by the kitchen, there's a little bar and a kitchen, open kitchen right there. And we had it on the TV, and it's like nobody was in the dining room eating. Everybody was standing in the bar watching it. I think it was one of our worst dates that we ever had.
I was dating a little hottie back then, and I was over with her family hanging out. It was on the show.
I remember that. I remember the Bronco chase.
What were you, 10 years old?
That was right about when Princess got done too.
I remember that too.
Yeah. Yep. That was pretty close. I don't know. I was just sitting here I was just here looking around, and I'm thinking,
which is amazing because Long Crime started off on YouTube as a little podunk channel, and now they're a major.
Well, Crime
network.
TV did too.
Prime TV, yeah.
Because I was watching. I mean, back in was it 2000 when the whole Adventures with Purpose thing was going on. Crime TV was not very big.
Let's see, Adventure and Purposes. That thing was
around 2000,
2019, 2020.
Yeah,
because that's when we were talking about with everything that went south with Jared.
Yeah. Yep. I don't ever hear
Obviously,
his stuff
this
anymore.
one's not.
Yeah, and Doug's not with them anymore.
No?
Doug works a lot with Jacob.
He does every now and then. He started his own thing. He's got a channel called Doug Bishop.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. So
in the middle, it's still.
I believe it's called. I think it's just called Doug Bishop.
Just keep stirring it.
He's done stuff with Heavy D Sparks in New York. That was pretty cool. Like, I'm jealous, man. Like, I wanted to be a big YouTuber when I had my channel going so I could meet these people, and now they're all meeting each other, and it's like, I would love to hang out with Heavy D for a day. And
well, look on the bright side. We know a couple that we know Jacob.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know if he knows us anymore, but no.
yeah, he's gotten pretty damn big.
I just wished him a happy birthday on his Facebook the other day. So.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. He just got an award actually for the first time. Did you see that?
No.
He got an award by the shoot, I can't think which one it is. Police department of one of the areas that he was in, where he found a person that's been missing for a long time.
Oh, that's it, down in Kentucky.
Might be. I was thinking like Olden or something, or yeah. He got a certificate. She got a certificate, and one other guy. So they might have a third team member or something. But
I know Jacob's got not really a contract, but he's the go-to guy now for the state of Kentucky for underwater search and rescue.
Oh, that's cool. That's good. Here, let me see if I can see if I can do this without.
I didn't make meatballs. He is a meatball.
Yeah. He just cooked the ground beef and then adding in the ground up beef in with the spaghetti sauce and the spaghetti noodles.
Okay, what brand of spaghetti sauce is your go-to?
Ragu.
Ragu? I'm a Hunt's person myself. That's my base for when I make spaghetti.
see if I can do this where I don't have all of the stuff in
This
there.
one is the one.
Okay.
What's Tucker doing
In the shower.
in the shower?
Yep. I had told him to take showers and stuff so that way by the time I'm done here, I'll have hot water, which now is not going to be.
Hey, Billy, Cato Kalin
Share that screen.
went to school with my with my boss from the bar and restaurant I worked at. They went to Glendale High School in Milwaukee together.
Elgin, that's what it is.
Whoa.
That's Jake and the 2 police officers and Lindsay.
I love hunts.
And I don't know if Laney's still here or not, but I have not heard how today's search went to see if they had found anything leading up to the location of where she may be. I still have not told the Whelans.
I was wondering about that.
They don't. Oh, hi, son.
I put this in like the meat in.
Yes, sir.
And then it's done.
Then it's done. Then you're done.
Isn't that pretty
Oh,
cool?
yeah.
though?
I'm ready for the storm. I got new tires on the truck.
You see that, Wrench?
Yeah.
I think Lindsay slimmed down a whole bunch.
When Jacob used to hang around with us on the rant den and all that, what do you have, like 5,000 subs back then?
Yeah, we actually had pretty close at one point, and then he quickly jumped up to 5, 7, and then he just kept going. Now he's got what is he at? A couple 100,000 now?
Oh, easy.
But yeah, I think Lindsay looks a lot slimmer now than she did too. She looks good now.
Yeah. I've noticed that.
And then Jacob, I think, has too, actually.
Oh, he's definitely lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah. I'm proud of him. He's worked hard for that.
I wonder how much he paid for the boat he bought from what's his name? That husband and wife church
Waters.
team. Yeah.
Waters. Did he buy that?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if he bought that, leased
talking about
it
the
from
sonar?
them, or they gave it to him because they retired.
That's not his boat.
So maybe he's leasing it.
The big boat he's using now is
Yeah,
one
the big aluminum.
Yeah, he got that and then took it down there and they fitted it for him, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
I vaguely remember that whole scenario.
because it's got the Chaos Diver emblems on it.
Yeah, the big boat.
Yeah.
That's he got that boat. I don't remember if he got money donated. I think he had money donated to him for the boat.
Yeah, because you just had that small little bass track or whatever it was before.
Yeah, his dad's boat. Yeah.
Yeah, his dad's boat.
And then the other guy loaned him his boat quite a few times too. Shoot, what's his name?
Muddy Water, not Muddy Waters.
No, two names. Singers, I think. Reno.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Ah,
I haven't watched too much of the underwater rescue stuff in quite a while.
Cisco, Reno. It's daggone it. It's the names of his dogs, but I can't.
A damn rabbit hole going here.
Oh man, here, we can cancel this off now. Let's see. I don't know who messaged me. Oh, my friend. Oh, my buddy says next year, hopefully he'll be back on his motorcycle.
Yeah. Hopefully the snow is melts so I can get mine back out. I got a little work to do on it before I go on this week's trip or this year's trip.
Dang it. I have it right at the tip of my tongue, too. Dang it. That bothers me now. Son of a gun. What the heck was his name? It was like an R and an S. Like two words. Maybe. I don't know. Who's some rock singers from like the 70s that had two names? One started with an R. There's a
I don't remember. Well, what do you say we call it quits for the night? What time is it anyways? Oh, yeah. Quarter to 10. No, quarter to 9 for Dell.
Yeah.
What did he sing? Off key?
Oh, shoot, I don't remember. Rico.
Whoop. Whoa. What the heck?
Ringo
Starr?
Ringo Starr.
Yeah, I think so.
He's a drummer.
Now,
Rod Stewart?
Is that's not the guy though. Ringo and Czar, I think, is what the guy on YouTube was.
Oh, okay.
Ringo and Czar.
I don't know that one actually.
That's the one who gave Adventures with Purpose. That's the one who gave Adventures with Purpose a lot of things. I mean, so did Corey. But he gave them a lot of things. And then when we were doing a search down in Kentucky, he brought his boat down there to help try to find that girl. And so yeah, Ringo and Czar. That's what it was. I think it was Ringo and Czar. That's his dog's names. But he was always like, yeah, I don't want my name, my real name out there. I don't want to be on camera, none of that stuff. I'm just helping out. So I thought that was cool.
Road trip. When is that? It's going to be September. First part of September, I'll be out on the road for 3 weeks on the bike. I'll be taking my laptop with me, so still be able to broadcast. Be going right down the East Coast and then screaming over towards Oklahoma. And after Oklahoma, going up towards Wisconsin and Michigan and back over to New Hampshire.
I wonder if I should go south.
I'm thinking about actually going a little farther south and go down to the Tampa area to go see some friends in Palm Harbor.
I have a friend down there too.
Rick Springfield.
My friend's name is Tim down there. He's a biker.
So my friend's down there too. And she's a lawyer, and her husband are also bikers.
Nice.
And they do huge, unbelievably amount of bike nights all over that area. Sponsorship of all kinds of stuff. Reach across America. They're one of the major sponsors besides Walmart. Just an unbelievable amount of charity work. I was supposed to go to work for them just before COVID hit, and so I wasn't able to get down there.
I'm trying to think of where to go next.
Well, I won't be too far from northern Michigan. I'll be going up to see Wolfman there in central Michigan.
Yeah, I'm over by Lansing.
Yep. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll make it all the way up to the UP or not, but
depending on when it is, especially if it's a weekend, maybe I can jump on the Harley and ride with you, go up to the UP and back.
Yeah, try to swing it. All right, everybody, we're gonna call it quits. Opie's got to eat.
Smells good.
The fat kid inside of me is hungry.
Yeah, I'm on a diet.
Well, thank you guys for coming and watching and hanging out with us for this, 2 hour and 50-minute video.
Next week will be shorter, but I think it's going to be very interesting to find out how defense try to turn it around.
Yeah.
So, any last words, Wolfie?
Check out my music videos on Wolfband Willie. Don't forget that.
Yep.
Wolfman Willie. I'm debating on putting more songs out and finishing that one I was working on. So
Get your ass in gear.
I know, right? There's so much to do. I spent almost a week straight getting the shorts out a week ago. So like I put everything on hold. So now I got a whole bunch of stuff to work on. So Wolfman Willie, I started a channel called The Rant Den, and it's got a picture of a wolf. It's a purple and blue or pink and blue wolf, and it has 1 subscriber. So
Woo!
that's there's 2 channels identical, but the one with the 100 subscribers is not it. I'm locked out of that one. So it's
the fun days back with the old
yes, I was hoping to get that channel back, but it's tied to a phone number I don't have anymore, and that was my only way to access it. So I can't get it for some reason. It's like, it's me, it's my face. I can prove to you it's me. Like, why can't I have it? But no, there's nobody to contact. So it's the one with.
Is Wolfman Rants 411 up and running at all? Or
yes, that's the one that's got the one I'm using here right now. It's got like a white and red and black logo.
Okay, yeah, because there's Wolfman Rants 411, but the other one's just Wolfman Rants.
No, it's actually the Rant Den.
Oh, the Rant Den.
I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, if you'll drop a link to it.
Yeah, drop a link.
Oh, there it is. Oh, that's my old one. It's got 116 subscribers I can't get to. That's lovely.
I'll probably be heading that right down that way because I'm gonna be going down to North Carolina and South Carolina, and especially if I'm gonna be going down to see my friends in Florida and that, I'll be going right through right there by Savannah. I've only been to Savannah once, and I've been wanting to get back there. I think primarily because I love the movie In the Garden of Good, or Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil.
Here it is. Actually, it is just the Rant Den. It's I don't know if I can post it on here. I think I can. There you go. That is my other channel, the Rant Den. And once I start getting enough people in there, I think what I'll do is I'll just start doing lives like we did. We'll do some trivia and some random fun stuff, and do that kind of thing.
There, you got another sub.
And he got another sub just now too.
Sweet. Maybe they'll find me. I can't change I can't change it. The other one's got 116 subs. I think I can still feed to it. Like if I wanted to do it off my StreamYard, because my StreamYard is still connected. So I think I can still like live it from StreamYard. I'm not sure. I need to test that theory.
Yeah.
But I can't control anything, so that's kind of silly.
Oh yeah.
So anyways.
All right, guys.
Any last words, Del?
Thank you guys, and I love you all. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see y'all for After Dark of Credence and Mikey tomorrow at 6 p.m.
I might be late for that because I'll be at work, but I should be there for that. So good night, everybody. We love you. And remember to stay weird. Night.
Good night.
And fuzzy.